Et ecce equus pallidus, et qui sedebat super eum nomen illi mors, et infernus seguabator eum. Et data est illi potesta superquator partes terrae, interficere gladio, fame, et morte, et bestis terrae.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sword and Key, a special game feature of Sword and Key for the game Eldritch Automata. We are actually joined today by some lovely people, one of whom is actually the game creator of Eldritch Automata, which we will talk about a little bit later and get into all the mechanics and all the wonderful, horrible in the best way, horrifying, maybe a better word, aspects and creatures and tragic heroes and everything else that this game has to offer. Before we get into all of that, I do want to say that this game, while it does not have any necessary incentives because it is a game feature, meaning that we don't really want to mess around with too much of the rules today, we really want to kind of put a spotlight on them and show them how they're meant to be played. And incentives can sometimes throw some monkey wrenches into that contraption. So no major incentives today, but we highly encourage you to donate to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, which you can find at Tiltify on our socials as well as in chat. And we highly recommend you do that as opposed to resubbing or bits or anything like that. The channel's fine. It'll be fine. Go and support a good cause. It means a lot, and it's always very much appreciated. And we will have other games in the near future which will have incentives going towards that same foundation. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for all these wonderful players. I'm going to go around and have them introduce themselves and perhaps maybe introduce their characters a little bit. Maybe say what type of character you're playing in this, and we can talk a little bit more about what that means as we go along. But Rak, if you don't mind starting us out, as you are in the top left of my screen here.
All right. Okay. Am I on? My mic working?
Yeah, you can do.
Cool. Hello, everyone. My name is Rakolai, or Rakolai. I don't have a preference on how you pronounce it. I'm just glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in today. Today, I will be playing Garrick Yevgeny. The pilot archetype is the Empty. Basically, thrill seeker, adrenaline junkie. Just looking for maybe one last thrill before a timely or untimely end, depending on how you view it. And I will be piloting Volk 4, a Junker class automata. Basically, these are older machines from a bygone era, not as new and fancy as some of the more modern models, but they still get the job done.
Already so sad. Okay, next up, Kit.
That's me. Hello. I'm Kit. Today I will be playing Simone Hubbard, who is the other archetype. Don't worry about what that means just yet. And I will be piloting Mur, which is an ancient automata. So something that is older than any of us, whether it has existed on Earth in that time, who can never be sure.
Wonderful, wonderful. Also, deeply disturbing and sad. Now,
Don't
next
worry
up,
about it. It's fine.
I'm not worried, Kit. I'm not
I'm
worried.
so glad. You shouldn't be. I'm a normal
Not
guy.
at all. Not even a little bit. You're just a little guy.
Thank you.
Next up, game creator Nick. Thank you for joining us.
Hi everyone, I'm Nick. I created Eldritch Automata, and today I'm going to be playing Cassidy Cruz. I'm going to be playing the Thanatos and the Collateral, which is Husk, my automata. Husk is a big beefy boy with some heavy artillery and weapons that do not differentiate friend from foe, so this will be interesting.
Great. I love that combination with the Thanatos. We'll talk about why that's great here in a little bit. But absolutely, last but not least, Anna.
Yes, I am Anna, and today I do not have a mech and I do not have a body. Instead, I will be playing the AI in everyone's mech, so you'll see me popping around. I'll be playing the weapons optimization model for battlefield assistance and targeting, though most pilots refer to her as Wombat.
Absolutely love it. Definite major step up from Clippy. Very excited about that. Again, thank you to these people. Thank you for joining us for this game. If you are not familiar with Eldritch Automata, it is a game that it was, again, created by Nick. It is also in conjunction with part of Gehenna Gaming, produced by, perhaps. So you can go check out Gehenna Gaming on social medias as well. It's Gehenna Gaming. It is Eldritch Automata is currently under a Kickstarter. You can find the link to that on our socials, as well as I believe in chat here momentarily. And you should go support it, and we will show you why. This is one of 2 sessions we will be playing this week, not next week, but the week after. And things are going to get dark and sad, so do check out content warnings. This is a horror game. This does have a lot of Christian, Judeo kind of horrors to it. Very much, there is like biblical apocalypse, but it also gets heavier than that, darker than that, and definitely has its own twist to everything. There is horror aspects as well as body horror and some gore and blood and all that kind of stuff. So take care of yourself first and foremost. That is what is most important. And for those of you who stick around, it's very much appreciated. For those of you who can't, it's understandable. Take care of yourself. Let's talk a little bit about the world of Eldritch Automata. The world was much as it is now, a place of cities and civilizations and various people spread across this globe in what we consider now to be the modern age, the societies that we have built around ourselves. That is until the day of the architect came. A blasting sound that lasted for hours, blaring out eardrums all across the globe, coming from everywhere and nowhere at once, accompanied by a light that was seen from any angle. Every person on the globe could see this light as if it were above them, around them, consuming them in a way. And from that light stepped forth the architect, and with the architect came the end of all things. With the architect came the horrors and the seraph, beings that we attribute to heaven and hell, but equally devastating to us all. The horrors are these twisted creatures who seem to come from the shadows themselves and rip and tear and consume in their never-ending hunger. The seraphs, somehow equally horrible in their divine judgment of those who would be left behind, those of the 10% and dwindling who remain on the world fighting to survive. We've tried to fight back in the early days, our weapons near useless against them, only our most intense atomic weapons leaving but a scratch on some of these creatures. And that is when the mech was created. And from the mech, we devised a way to fight back. Not in a way where we were using earthly powers, but something much darker and much more ancient that powered these great machines. And within them, the pilots, that would propel them forward and bring us to our destiny. Whether that destiny be devastation or resolution, we did not know, but these pilots go forth every day to fight the horrors and the Seraph. Some come back, some are consumed, some come back, but not totally themselves. We have our pilots here. They will soon find that they will have a mission that will drive them out into the wilderness once again. Let's find out where they are right now. We zoom in on what used to be the United States of America. A small portion that had a small town living nearby it, which now has one of the largest standing populations of humanity left on the continent of North America. There's a place called Mammoth Cave. Used to be in the state of Kentucky, not that state border lines really exist anymore. Mammoth Cave was the largest of caves ever to be known in the greater continental United States, and connects to a massive cave system that went all the way to Maine and all the way south to the tip of Texas. Humanity, much as we did in our primordial age, reversed back to the cave when there were great beasts without: the saber-toothed cat, the mammoth, the mastodon. We feared these animals, and so we retreated into the darkness. And now, where we find ourselves surrounded by horrors and Seraph and the unknown, we retreat back into that darkness. But now we have the technology to build, and Mammoth Cave has become a fortress, a place where most of humanity lives in bioluminescent light and otherwise utter darkness. We live alongside cave paintings from thousands of years ago, where we now build great machinations that are meant to fight for our survival. And it is within these sprawling caverns of Mammoth Cave that we have dug deeper, and we have built, and we have reinforced, and it is here we find our pilots. It is a rainy day. You would know that because you have access to the cave entrance, and it's the little bit of light that you can potentially get during a day. The great blast doors have been pulled open just to let in a little bit of the cool rain air, and this otherwise the early spring day. It's a bit odd because you're used to having snow at this time of the year, but it's this cold rain that kind of permeates down. And the blast doors are also open for drainage purposes. The rainwater has a tendency to build up and even erode at the doors otherwise. So there's a little bit of water which is kind of flowing through this little river that flows down into the caverns that everyone just kind of has to step across. It's not very wide at all. On a day like today, where it's dark, storming outside, where might we find your characters within this sprawling cavern? You would have access to almost anything you would have in a normal post-apocalyptic city, I should say. There are armories, there are mechanic areas, there are bunks. Rack, we'll go ahead and start with you. Where would we find Garrick on a day like today?
I think Garrick would be in his usual haunt down in the maintenance hangar. There's always some bolts that need tightening, plates that need putting back together. With these older models, kind of have to take a little bit more care of them in their old age. I think you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry about that. What does your mech look like? You said it's an older model. Is it showing wear and tear? Are there dents on it? Are there scratches? Like, can you look at your mech and note the battles that it had been in based on the scars that it still bears? Like, is it showing rust, or is it just that it has like an older frame to it that's a little boxier? Like, what denotes it as being older?
I would say it's a little bit of both. So it's definitely like not as streamlined or like aerodynamic as like a more modern automata might be. Very boxy contours, very practical design. But you might notice that some of the armor panels look like they've been cannibalized from other models, possibly from a fallen automata that couldn't be salvaged, but parts of it could be brought back for repairs. The paint is scuffed all over the place. The joints have like visible wear marks on them. Just completely polished smooth. There's like no rust on them because they've been moving around so much. Yeah, it's think of it as like an old car that someone has been taking care of, but despite all their efforts, you can tell that it's kind of just hanging in there.
Absolutely. Yes, you were doing your best with your late model Geo Metro. I get it. Kit, where might we find Simone?
I think Simone is probably, if not there, pretty close to it. They've been working on this, we'll call it a weapon, for a bit. So they're probably, in and out of the mech. That is this tall and, in comparison to your mech, this is a very tall, kind of slender, very sleek looking, sort of gold and patinaed mech situation. There's what appear to be almost matching the cave scrawlings that we see around these caves in the Mammoth Cave system are also kind of on this mech in a way. There's writings that don't quite make sense to most people, and that follows inside of the mech as well. It's kind of hard to see where those stop and Simone's kind of personal notes begin, except for that some of them are done in Sharpie. It's fine. So they're probably, in and out of the mech, sort of tinkering with this thing. Unclear if they're talking to themselves, if they're talking to Wombat, something else entirely, but sort of walking about, tinkering with things, muttering, occasionally taking notes, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. We'll get back to Simone on that one. Cassidy, where might we find you?
Ooh, Cassidy is in the makeshift gym that they've kind of established on base, and is currently probably doing like pull-ups. And it's real dark in the cave. There's like the one light, and you hear him. He goes 15 and slowly but surely, and you can kind of see, because I'm assuming this is like kind of like an open cave system, so there's not like rooms per se.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely like little carved out bits. Like you have individual barrack rooms that are like reinforced with steel panels, but then there's still exposed stone. Like it's just what has been carved out.
And he's kind of set up like, he's wedged a bar into one of the side panels or ceilings. There's like a makeshift kind of punching bag, and then in the background you can just see this huge bulky mech that at one point probably looked really pristine, but around multiple points there's just scorch marks and thick soot that is kind of settled onto it. And kind of as he does the, he gets to 20, he drops, and looking at his automata, just going, "That last one was for you, big guy."
I love that. Okay. Wombat, hard to ask you where you are. You are everywhere and nowhere all at once. Yes. Is there anything currently occupying your attention right now? Are you, crashing encryption codes? Are you, smashing bugs in the algorithm? Are you surfing the web? I don't know. What would be occupying the main majority of your computing power as an AI?
I think at the moment torn between scanning for signals and communications, like she normally does, just kind of keeping an eye out in this area, kind of outside of caves where we are, watching for danger, and also kind of popping up screen to screen, following Simone as they are moving back and forth, working on this weapon that is not technologically sound. Wombat has tactical concerns about the efficiency and stability of this. So just kind of popping up back and forth, taking down notes for Simone as needed.
Right. So there are two things that pop up primarily at the same time. One of which you kind of get that's like you're not necessarily supposed to see, but it is just blaring over just all channels that you pick it up, and it is an SOS. And it is coming from further east. There is an SOS that part of the message gets cut off, but you can hear that it is an audio file, and your operating system recognizes the sounds of screaming, an all call for help, and gunfire. And just as like you play the audio file and it is pulled from your records as encrypted, specialized, maybe like the mail has been opened by the higher ups and they don't even want the general, like they don't want the Alexa device sharing this to everybody. Basically, you get a call to have Simone, Cassidy, and Garrick report to forward command.
Yeah, Wombat, I think, kind of stops. Wombat is very... The person who coded Wombat after the end of the world was very obviously, could be described as possibly a weeb prior to the ending of the world. So she's very much a kind of anthropomorphic Wombat-like woman, leaning maybe a little bit towards Goofy Movie a bit in character design. Very kind of like light blue and silvery, kind of your classic AI kind of look, big fluffy ears. But she kind of stops mid-notes with her head tilted to the side on the screen and then pops up in the heads-up display or on a screen that Cassidy and Garrick have available as well. I apologize for interrupting, but it seems that we are being called to a meeting. I know of the reason why, but I cannot tell you.
Can't or won't?
Can't. I am currently forbidden. Seems like it will be a very interesting day, though.
I think Garrick will just... He's not really going to say anything in response, but he'll just finish tightening one last bolt and then shut the panel that he was working on, wipe down his face with like this really nasty looking rag that probably has been washed in a while, and then start heading for the forward command.
Absolutely. Yeah, the panel doesn't like shut correctly. Like you know the angle you have to close it at to actually get it to shut properly. But yes, wordlessly, Garrick, you go to forward command.
Cassidy just stretches, throws back on his denim vest, the only thing that he wears on top, and he go and just like looking at like the the PDA or whatever, just goes, "All right, Wommy Mommy, be right there."
Simone, you see Garrick leave. You see Cassidy's say leather or denim. My brain conflated both. Cassidy, what kind of vest are you wearing? Is it leather or is it denim? Or is it both?
Oh, it's denim. It's the one that's got like
denim.
all the patches
Okay.
on it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Then yes, denim vest. Very iconic. Heading towards forward command. Out in the rain, I should note. Forward command is not part of the primary base.
Yeah, all right, I'm coming. This is probably good enough for now. Just sort of like puts away the arguably half-built contraption they've been working on. Yeah, hop out of the mech.
Simone,
You were only making it more unstable.
It's a prototype. It's fine. It requires testing. Is that not what we're about to go do? Probably.
Testing in the field is not always wise, but
Do we have another option?
testing in the field is not always wise.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
Just wandering out into the rain.
So one thing of note before you do pack up and leave your mech, but you kind of mentioned that it has like almost like hieroglyphics as part of
Mhm.
its body. Yeah. There is like the last time that you just like take your wax on, wax off movement over a span of hieroglyphics, it's like that TikTok where they wipe the mirror and there's something else and then they wipe it back. And for a moment as you wipe, you are able to discern the English words, gaze externally, this course is Laqueus. And you are able, and as soon as like you see that, your brain consumes it, your brain gets it, and then before you can stop your hand, it wipes back over and it's just hieroglyphics again. And you're not like, you saw those words, but those words aren't there.
Shit. Wombat. Can you open the file? Can you take something down for me?
Which file?
It's the one with the language database, please.
Yes, absolutely.
that?
What would you
What
like
was
me to
that?
pull?
Was that gaze outwardly just like racking their brain for the exact wording that they saw?
I did send it to you just because I do think that this is like
Excellent.
printed on your brain.
Yes. Yeah, so they'll just be like, okay. Gaze externally. I think there was some sort of punctuation. Thine course is Laqueus. What is Laqueus? Do I even know that word? Hold on. Just like pulls up like a dictionary app. Like,
Your heart rate and blood pressure seem elevated. Do you need medical assistance?
no, I'm fine, Wombat. It's fine. Let's just go to command. Thank you.
Noted.
So heading to forward command, you all exit the base primary, the fortress that has become Mammoth Cave, and walk out into the rain. There are other structures which are built around the cave system. A lot of it is actually intentional camouflage. There are walls built. There's a canopy that extends over certain areas where some of the larger buildings are to just make it look like tree cover. So there's portions that are exposed where you do get a little bit of rain on you. But forward command, is mostly just a series of tents, sandbags set up, very, early 21st century military style of a forward command. And standing there under a couple of the tents are a few individuals who are still dressed in what could be pulled together from military garb. There are some of them who are wearing bits of camouflage in addition to what you would identify as like civilian clothing. There is one of them, however, who still maintains a full head to toe, what would be considered proper, combat military attire for being in the field. And you would know that this is the commander of your forces, the person who has been placed in charge as much as he has been placed himself in charge. Like there's a 50 or 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, whereas he kind of took command, but no one's really challenged it because his command has led to the survival of your community. And this is General Pickett. And as he has his back to you, his hands behind him, there's a few other individuals there. There's a woman who is dressed in more like science garb, is what I'm going to try to say. They're, lab coat, bigger glasses. We're going to media identify who these people are. And then there is another military personnel, and those two are arguing. And as you get closer, you notice that they're basically going back and forth, as you would recognize that this is your lead geologist, actually the person who you can credit with this fortress, because every time you carve into the cave system, she gets to give the go-ahead and say whether it's structurally sound to do so. And you know that this is an argument they've had 100 times because they are looking for more space for mechs. And she is saying that as of right now, with the way that the water is seeping into the table, the way that everything's going, they don't have more space. And so you have a military personnel looking for more space for weapons. You have a geologist saying that he's going to collapse everything on top of everybody and kill the few thousand people that still live here. But as you all approach, their argument kind of settles down a little bit, and they look to you. General Pickett turns around, and an aging man with dark skin. Well, I can see that the Na'vi sent you where you needed to be. Welcome. And he looks down at his little wrist Fitbit, whatever, that has Wombat on it. Good job, Wombat. You may stay for this. You're involved.
Thank you, sir. Would you like me to snooze your alarm to thaw your chicken for tonight?
It's but yeah. That's yes. Thank you.
Cassidy like leans over to either Garrick or Simone, whoever's closest, and just like whispers, "They're getting chicken here, and we get this can slopped every night."
Exactly. Yeah. It's chicken dog food. That's what it is.
So his dog is eating better than us.
I don't know about you, but I don't think the commander here has a dog.
That's the other upsetting thing. Yeah, there was a second where I was going to introduce the dog. Funnier that he doesn't. Listen, they call it chow for a reason, all right?
Listen, beggars and choosers and all that.
Beggars and choosers and all that. Listen up. I have a mission for all of you, and it ain't going to be an easy one, but you are literally the only people on base left to do it. So I ain't asking. I'm telling. There is a convoy coming in from D.C. As we understand it, the last standing operation in D.C. went under. You all would know that D.C. was one of the first places to really get hit really, really hard. And it is a place where the Seraphs hit. That's kind of like Seraph territory took over D.C. And they still had a base of operations like underground in the presidential bunkers and all that, where they were still operating from this last stand sort of deal, but apparently that has gone under recently. So as we understand it, the last of our command from that center is heading here in one of the caskets. Caskets, you would know, are a personnel transport that are like sealed to make sure that whoever's in them can't get, like, the Seraphs and Horrors really can't get to them, but also they can't get out without somebody else. It's a double-edged sword of a transport type, and they're just like hermetically sealed in there with anything they would need for a couple of weeks. But if they get left in there and nobody's left to get them out, that's kind of where they're going to stay, hence them being called caskets. So I need you all to move through the cave system and pick them up. They are above ground, but this is going to be a no-mech mission. Leave your heavies behind, get your shit kickers on. You leave at 600. I expect you to bring back any and all personnel you can in one piece. Those who are in multiple pieces, leave behind.
How many personnel are we expecting?
The entire command was 100 individuals. As we understand, there are significantly fewer now.
Known hostiles?
All of them. Just all of them. So, Garrick, again, general knowledge that you all would have. Whereas the Seraphs took over DC and a lot of the eastern seaboard, for some reason, they don't like crossing the Appalachian Mountains. They don't like going over them. So the Appalachian Mountains are this really interesting geographic split between Seraphs and Horrors that kind of mark their territories. And so you all mostly have to deal with Horrors over here. Seraphs still come through. I mean, they still will cross the Appalachians if necessary, but there's something about it they just don't seem to like, to the point where there have been like chases that have stopped at the Cumberland Gap, where a mech was, on its last leg, literally trying to get through, and a Seraph stopped, not wanting to pass through the Cumberland Gap. Like I said, you will spend, if you move at a decent pace, approximately 6 hours, and then you'll meet them on Route 666. Questions? Comments? Complaints? Don't want to hear them.
So point of order, are we... Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Point of order: are we crossing Appalachia to go get them, or will they be on our side of the hill, so to speak?
They have moved past the Appalachians. They're out of Seraph territory.
Okay.
They are, like I said, they are above ground because of the number of staff that they have and because they have mechs. But you all are basically there to grant support and get them to the safety of your base. There are other smaller bases along the way. There are bases that are underground as well. But you are meant to move on foot through the cave system because there's only a few of you, as opposed to risking your mechs through, because it's a even by highway it's a 10-hour sort of trip by car from where you are to DC. Meeting them halfway, 5 hours, that's a long time to be out in the wilderness. So you're probably going to be meeting them right around it's the Monongahela Forest.
Understood. So I don't get to go play with the Seraphs. This is fine.
You'll have your time.
Cassidy raises his hand.
Completely unnecessary, but I like you. I appreciate it. Denim Vest. I don't remember your name.
Cassidy, sir, when can I get out of this chicken shit outfit?
Anyway, don't die. If you do, don't make it somebody else's problem. That's all I ask. All right.
Understood.
Get out of my face. So it is currently, say, like afternoon. You're leaving at 6 a.m. and we'll be moving through the cave system. So if there's anything you all would like to do to prepare, you absolutely may. As you all leave, he does actually look down to Wombat. Yeah, make sure that actual chicken's not. I ain't eating dog food. Also, you're going too. If you want to pick up one of the new mini mechs, you're welcome to. But otherwise, if you just want to bug them and give them info along the way, your prerogative. You were programmed. Yeah, I always said, the end of the world, furries and weebs, they would outlive us all. You're living proof of that.
They have plenty of technology with them. I think I will be just fine tagging along that way.
Fair enough. Snooze my next alarm for the ice cream party as well, please. I remember.
Understood.
Okay. What are your preparations going to look like as you go to move on foot through the cave system?
Well, I'm pulling this weapon out of my mech and holstering it to my person. This
What kind of weapon you got?
This is a weapon of my own creation. This is, I think, legally speaking, a sidearm. And it's we'll say I've taken some inspiration from the mech that I was given. And it's a long range, we'll call it like an energy blast situation. Somewhat of a siphon, perhaps. I'm just stealing their health and reusing it. It's recycling. It's good for the environment.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kit.
But it's quite we'll go with volatile at this current stage in its production. So
isn't all recycling? That's what I say. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's subject to change. It's innovation at its finest.
I can't recycle pizza boxes. What? Okay. Wonderful. So that being part of your loadout, good to know. Garrick, what's some stuff that you might have as part of your loadout? What would it look like as you're moving on foot?
Garrick is going to take some time to make sure that his service pistol is cleaned and working properly, that he's stocked up on ammunition. I think he's also going to see if he can requisition a first aid kit, just in case they need it.
Sure. Yeah, you fill out requisition papers because there's still red tape. It takes a couple of hours, but they end up walking the 10 feet to get you a med kit. You get approval for one.
Cool. And then I think other than that, he's just going to make sure that, his electronics are charged. Don't want a dead battery out there.
Is his service pistol is his stuff similar to his mech? Like, did Garrick serve? Is this like remnant kind of stuff? Is it old school, or does he embrace the new school as well?
I think the service pistol would be like a more modern one at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's really only the mech that is more old school.
Fair enough. Okay. And Cassidy, anything that you would be doing to prep?
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna switch out because I originally only had a piece of equipment. But I think with the mission, I think I'm gonna need a weapon of some sort. So leaving my little biomonitor at home, and instead Cassidy has this glove that he just kind of situates on his dominant hand. It kind of looks like the Power Glove from The Wizard.
For sure.
Have you ever seen that movie? Yeah. But it's got the kind of bare bones where his hand's exposed, but there's these like kind of metal casing frame around it. And this thing's gonna help with knockback, a little bit of defense. And
I have to ask because it was one of my favorite pieces of equipment in the rules. Is this a truck glove?
No, this is not the truck on. This is the kinetic gloves.
Kinetic gloves, fair enough. Also, great item. Loved the name of a truck glove. Does what it says. Summons a truck now. Okay, Wombat. Since you are going to be disconnected from essentially your Wi-Fi from everything else, you're going to have to go in offline mode. Would you like to download some Google Maps? What are you prioritizing with your with the download that you have on, like, when you go mobile?
Yeah. I think I'm trusting the crew to know where we are going specifically, since we have limited memory on the technology that they're carrying with them. I'm focusing on, mechanically speaking, a multiband radio scanner to be able to pick up communications encrypted and unencrypted, and then also a signal jammer just in case I need to jam stuff to get us out of there. So I'm focusing more on being able to hide us and figuring out where enemies are through communication and those sorts of things.
Wonderful. Love that. Okay. The night comes, though while inside the cave it's kind of hard to tell. It's always just humid in here, even with the cold air kind of coming in early spring Kentucky. That it's humid and warm, and the rain doesn't really help with that humidity. It just kind of like clings to everything here in the cave system. But night arrives nonetheless, and you all are able to rest, should you rest, should there be something that you do. When morning arrives, and this is probably still pre-dawn at this point in the year, it is the lights flash on in your particular bunks. Wombat, if you have sleep alarms that need to go off, they do. And you all take your loadouts to the deeper part of the cave, to the hell gates, or what they're called. These are, again, blast doors that are placed over some of the deeper parts of the cave that actually connect to the very extensive cave system that extends throughout Eastern America. And that these caves go, again, like almost as far southwest as Texas. That there were actually bases in Houston, San Antonio that have since gone under, taken by the horrors. That there were cave systems in what used to be Florida that have collapsed due to them not having a geologist and just digging too deep. But you know that they definitely, the cave system, go all the way up to New Hampshire. They go all the way over to Delaware. They go as far west as South Dakota. These are really extensive. They've really helped humanity kind of survive in these areas. However, you know that the cave systems aren't totally safe because some of these bases have gone down, and whether seraphs or horrors have begun to explore them in search of bases like yours. Hence the Hellgates being put in place just in case something on the other side that isn't meant to come through tries to come through. So as you go to approach the Hellgates, the gate commander nods to you all. He's an older gentleman. This is just, he's kind of just a doorman in a way, but yet his job is one of the most important here. And you can see that there are big bags under his eyes where he hasn't gotten sleep for quite some time, standing sentinel over these. And your orders have come through. Your equipment is brought on board, and the Hellgates are opened, and this blast of just dense, old, like just corrupted air, just hot air, hits you all in the face, like it's just been pressing against these doors for a very long time. Any last minute things before you dive in? Okay. Simone, as you all go to pass beneath the doors, you could swear that just as you're passing in, just above the gates themselves, you see the words "Ego sum faber et omnium rerum feris."
Immediately, like, tapping something in the HUD, pulling up Wombat. Hey, can you open that file quick?
Yes, of course.
Thanks.
Are you seeing things again?
Just the things that are there, Wombat.
Understood. I've scheduled therapy for tomorrow.
No, we're not going to be back for that. Okay. I appreciate it. We'll do that later. I'm fine for now.
I am also terribly sorry. I gave you the wrong Latin.
Oh, great. Different Latin?
Different Latin. I apologize.
Second Latin.
Yes, second Latin. Spem dominite omnis qui huc intratis is what this says.
I don't speak Latin, but I speak enough Latin for that.
Would I be able to
It's,
translate this for Simone as it's entered into the spreadsheet?
Actually, I'm gonna say that while Simone noticed this is actually there. That Wombat, like with your scanners, you would be able to scan where somebody has carved this in. Like just if you look up, passing through the gates, that you would recognize actually what this says. And it is a famous phrase, which kind of helps a little bit. It is from Dante. It is "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here."
That's not ominous.
They're Hellgates.
Just a friendly welcome from the locals.
It's a funny joke.
Okay. Into the darkness you go. I will note that throughout your travels here, it will be dark unless you have some sort of luminescence that you can provide, whether using flashlights or glow sticks or anything like that, which could easily be part of your gear. Should you engage in any type of combat, it will be cramped, which is also a condition. And potentially, where you are, it could be flooded. So bear that in mind as you move along. Are you all doing anything in particular? And also, I should note, what is your marching order, as sometimes it is, thin enough that you can only march single file.
I think Garrick would take the lead.
Okay.
I feel like Simone takes the rear, as somebody with ranged weapons and also who gets distracted looking at things. Feels like that makes the most sense.
Yeah, Cassidy can be in the middle, just kind of bothering Garrick with his comments as they march forward. There's a lot of shit in here.
Yeah, denim is not. It's not a humid kind of material. It doesn't breathe the way you want it to.
No, especially just on bare skin for like 6 hours.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Imagine that's
be
why he
rough.
lost the sleeves, but
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Cool. So you were going to be traveling for quite some time. I mean, again, this is hours in a car. This could potentially be days on foot, and yet you know that it's not really going to matter too much. You're going to have to take your breaks. You're going to have to keep moving because you're not bound by sunlight and darkness down here. It's always going to be dark. So is there any type of light that any of you are producing down here?
I think Garrick would have a flashlight on his service pistol that he would kind of use as like a guiding light.
Cool. I should know it's not totally black down here. Like these tunnels are used. They do have lights that are strung up in certain places that cast very long shadows in the corners and the outcroppings that aren't really well traveled. Like there's tunnels that aren't primarily used, and those tunnels just seem like just pits to the abyss. With the lack of light that comes through them. There are collapsed tunnels as well, and you don't even know that they're collapsed until like you shine a flashlight on them. That's how dark it is when there isn't any type of light. There are also portions where the lights have come down, whether they are pulled down or otherwise, you're unsure. But moving through here, you don't necessarily see any sign of any enemies. There's no like scratches on the wall. In fact, you see some signs of, early man. You see cave paintings down here that have been maintained and maybe even are protected with like a sheet of plexiglass over top of them by one of the last humans who spends their life caring about protecting such things. You continue on. It's gonna take a while. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So the main mechanic with this game is rolling d6s. A 6 being a success, everything else not really being a success, a 1 being an absolute just failure. Is that a good way of putting it, Nick?
Yeah. So 1s are really only important on when you get to stress, but yes, 6 is the only success. But you usually only have to get 1 of them out of your whole pool.
So a lot of the skills we typically don't just like. It's not like D&D where everything has something to it and there's levels of success. It's either success or not. So as you're moving through, there's really not anything that I'm going to press upon you until we hit something super stressful. So let's hit something super stressful. You get to a point of the cave where you can tell that because of the rain here, because the traversal here has been so infrequent, a portion of the cave that you would typically pass through has collapsed. And with the rain table rising in these early spring days, and with the uncommon rain in this area, you have a part of the tunnel that you can now pass through that is flooded. So what I'm going to need from you all I'm going to say this is a strength roll, if I remember right. And I'm going to double check that. But this is going to be a physical sort of thing, so let's see. Yes, so you have 4 skills, strength, agility, wits, and empathy. And this definitely feels like a strength sort of thing because you do not know how deep this water goes. You do not know how far you will have to get across, unless you would also like to use, perhaps a wombat could be a guide for that and scan the area. That could potentially give you all an extra dice to roll. But otherwise, this will be a strength. If you have abilities, if you have skills that you can add to this, absolutely. But I will need at least 1 success here. And this is, we're going to call this, let's see, trying to remember what the easy and standard and dice there. Also, I apologize, my bird is losing it for some reason. There we go. We're going to call this, not necessarily demanding, this is average. So yeah, I'm not going to put a modification on this roll. It's just It is a +0 roll unless you have anything else.
I would like to assist with this, yeah, to
Okay.
see if I can scan it and kind of figure out a path for them to take.
Okay. The path definitely leads underwater. Wombat with we could say that if they have little wrist gauntlets that you're connected to, if you're part of a heads-up display, regardless, you have an infrared sensor that you're able to put out. Maybe you even have a drone that can be put out as well. You know that the water they will have to swim through is around 40 feet deep and goes across for about 50 feet. They will have to swim about 50 feet, holding their breath for that time, and that is with their gear as well, which is why this isn't necessarily an easy sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that kind of pops up on everyone's heads-up display, and there's a kind of like a dotted line that goes across in front of you on the ground and goes underwater and turns into little fishes that make a dotted line underwater.
I love it.
Thanks, Wombo Combo.
This might be a difficult trek. You will have to swim for about 50 feet underwater with your gear. But I believe in you.
And this is the only route forward.
Unless you can fly, yes.
Allow me to work on that adaptation for the mechs later.
Yes, to Wombat's point, you would have to backtrack about 6 hours to get to the next entrance to above, where you could travel over land. So you could backtrack, but you would be losing a lot of time doing so.
Guess let's go for a swim.
Yeah. Our PDAs, I'm assuming we can have flashlights on them on the wrists.
Yeah, definitely.
Got a visor.
Yeah.
With a little GoPro light.
Oh yeah,
I'm
minor light.
Yeah.
I'm imagining anything between modern doomsday preppers to aliens to space marines to maybe even helldivers too, if you really want to get intense about it. Any gear kind of in between that, I think, is reasonable here.
And the skill you said is, or the attribute is strength. Is there any skill we can use with this?
You can pitch me a skill. I'm thinking that there's a few that could probably work for this. Let me look up skills here.
So I don't have one applicable, but maybe endure mobility is what I was thinking.
Endure mobility, definitely. Yeah. Let's see where skills is.
Would love to have points in either of those.
Yeah, same.
I have a talent that gives me an extra die to my pool when I put myself in a dangerous or unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, I would say this is one of those things.
Cool.
I do have in part of my gear, my HUD gives me a bonus to navigation. I don't know if that's applicable underwater.
Yeah, no, I mean you will have to navigate in what is a dark underwater scenario. That is something that is really scary because you can't always see where you're going. It's like being trapped beneath the ice, but you can't punch through the ice. You're going to be traveling between two hard places and you can't come up for air. I will absolutely say navigation works for that.
That's amazing.
Well, if I die, don't let me blow it up in there, please. That would fucking suck.
Yeah, I could
You
say
wouldn't be there
observation.
to no.
So survival, what does survival count for? Survival I would give as well if you wanted to add an extra die, even though that's a wits skill. I would say survival could,
I'll take a wits
could add a
skill.
die to it. Yeah.
I'll take a wits skill, easy.
Yeah, I think those would be applicable here.
You said observation is applicable, or just
I think
survival?
observation could be applicable. Again, you have to be aware of your surroundings moving through here. Yeah. I know it's kind of like for seeing if somebody's coming at you, but hey, something might be coming at you. It's drowning. It's not fun.
Or like a big fish. Maybe it's like a big fish.
Maybe
Well,
it's like a big
saved
cavefish.
me.
Actually, now that you've said it, I hate it more.
Yeah,
I take it back. No
you,
cavefish.
you brought that into this, so I'm sorry if that's a thing.
I'm unbringing it, Derek. I'm taking it back.
That's how dare you? I'm going to re-gift it someday.
What Wombat intends to be soothing music kind of comes softly on over everyone's as it's the underwater temple music from an old video game pre-apocalypse, but she assumes that it's soothing for everyone.
I'm so tempted to give everyone 1 stress for that. That's the cruelest thing.
Just like midway through, like we're perfectly fine. We just hear like the sonic drowning loop.
I was about to
Yeah.
say.
It's just
See,
a
my brain went
medley of
to,
underwater music from video games.
Yeah, Link Water Temple, the Mario
Yeah.
drowning music. There's no good ones, you know. There's that one dolphin game from the Super Nintendo or
Oh,
the
Echo?
Sega
Talk to me
Genesis.
about that.
Echo.
Don't
Echo?
talk to me about Echo.
You know, Echo and Eldritch Automata actually, when I think of it right now, share a little bit of similarities. They both involve fighting cosmic beings.
I guess that's true. Yeah. All right. So did anyone not succeed?
I got 1 success.
All you need?
Same. I got so many 5s and 1
Yeah,
6.
right.
That is 2 successes on my end.
Nice. Okay. There is a moment when you all are traveling under the water that you seem to lose sense of yourself. It's so unbearably dark, and with the water around you, your senses are dulled. You can't see, you can barely hear. All the movement around you is literally the only sensory that you have. It's that touch, it's the pressure on your ears. You can't breathe, you can't smell. You're made less of a person in this space, a space that humans weren't meant to be, in a world that has already been taken so much from you. And yet you persevere and push through. Even in this time where Wombat is like kind of cut off a little bit, like the water just like dulls even the microphone that might come out. You all push through with, you know, flashlights leading the way, navigating through, perhaps bumping up against the stone wall from time to time, and that those 50 feet seem like a mile by the time that you reach the other side and are able to gasp a breath of air. And you have passed through anew and find the tunnel fully lit before you.
Just like
Break the
pulling themselves-
water.
Yeah, pulling out of the water. Just like, still think it's too hot down here?
Oh my god. Oh, that water's so stagnant.
Jesus Christ. I need like 8 showers.
Garrick, you dead?
Not yet.
Always next time.
I am proud of you all for coming through that successfully. I will add dysentery medication to your daily rounds, but I think you all are fine for now.
I wish I could argue, but now that tracks. Ugh.
Why couldn't we take the robots?
Big targets, I guess. They wanted us to get our steps in.
Right. Continuing on, you are reaching just about what would be the end of a day. Do you all want to push on, or would you all like to rest?
I think Garrick would push for continue on just like a bit longer.
I think I will impose a stress if you all do want to continue on. So you can add that. It's not going to be the end of the world with anything. A stress is a very common thing in this game. In fact, as long as you don't roll a 6 next time you get a stress, it's not even that big of a deal. Roll 6, we'll talk about it. We'll get into that. Okay. Continuing on. Go ahead, Kit.
Oh, I was gonna say, if we push on, Simone will be bitching the whole time, but they'll do it.
Beautiful. Yes.
Just looking
No,
at my endurance score.
Let's see. Okay, pushing on then. You continue for several hours until you get the idea that you are actually getting pretty close. Like Wombat, you know that the beacon that is attached to the coffin transport, the casket transport, is I mean, it's still a couple of hours out, but they seem to have been making pretty decent time to get to you. So you were going to kind of meet up here in just a couple of hours. Anything you all wanted to do before that? Okay. I would like a... Let's see, what am I going to call this? What are my rules? I would like an observation roll, if I can call for that. It's a wits roll that you can apply observation to. So if you don't have observation, I believe you can still roll your dice pool. But if you do have observation, you can get that extra die.
Plus, we get the bonus die from stress.
Yay!
That's true.
We love being stressed.
Can I roll this as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Beginning? Is this in any way related to communication or signal detection?
This is more of a visual thing. So we did also establish that you have, like, you know, a grid system that you can run over things. So if you want to do something like that.
Any sort of tracking or navigation alignment?
I would say tracking
Okay.
would come into this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you kindly.
Mhm.
So I rolled no successes, but if we need to, I can definitely push.
Okay.
I mean, I rolled 3 successes.
Okay, never mind.
Same.
I don't have to push. Awesome.
That's
Can't
2 successes on my end.
That is 4
Shit.
over here.
Those of you with successes, perhaps it is the chafing from the denim that distracts Cassidy. Wet denim is no one's friend. You all begin to notice that there are disturbances in the stone here. That while you have been moving through, you know, a lot of this cave system has been well traversed to the point where, like, the stone is almost smooth in some places, especially where water has passed over it. But you begin to notice that there are scratches in the stone. Scratches along the floor, scratches along the wall. Claw marks are what you're kind of identifying them as. Claw marks that seem to almost like scorch the stone as much as they cut into it. And they bear 6, not 5, but like this is not something necessarily worldly. 6 claw marks that are scratching along, indicating the movement of something over these spaces.
How fresh, I guess, would these claw marks look like?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. You get a couple of successes, right, Garrett?
Yeah.
I would say that with a couple of successes, you would be able to determine that there is still heat coming off from some of the rock. Like, some of the rock still is glowing just a little bit where it had been made molten and has not yet fully cooled. Yep.
Can I spend a stunt to also clarify something?
Yeah.
My sort of specialty bestowed upon me by my mech is understanding these otherworldly critters a little bit. Can I determine if I would recognize this as horror, seraph, anything like that? Like, would I be able to tell what this is?
Yeah, I would say that there's a couple of things you could maybe pull into this. When it comes to scorching things with claw marks especially, that's more of a horror vibe than a seraph. Seraphs have holy fire, which burns differently than infernal fire does. Also, the 6 digits is a common thing on horrors that have digits. At least digits that are their own. Sometimes they take them from other people. But I would say that you do get a little tickle that this is maybe more of a horror vibe than a seraph vibe, especially here in the darkness beneath the ground.
Can I ask the cursed question then?
Of course.
Is my little angel talking to me?
Always.
Are they here? Can I... Is something nearby?
Is
that
the
I
angel
can
in the
hear?
room with us?
Is the angel in the room with us? please.
Yeah, you definitely hear. I think you hear the voice at all times. Just like maybe it just gives you a little serotonin from time to time. Just like a little encouragement. Just a little like, oh, very well done. Yes, that was very great of you, Simone. But here in this moment, it's kind of like your eyesight goes like white for a moment, just like a blink, and you hear in your head, well, this couldn't be good, could it? Not what I meant, but here we are nonetheless. Prepare thyself. And as you hear that, all of you would watch as from the walls themselves, from the shadows even, the shadows begin to solidify. These things begin to pull themselves from solid object. They're like beings made of infernal light, which seems to consume light as much as it puts it out, and shadow itself, these twisted things that look like something between cross between a hunting dog and a lizard, with these twisted limbs and these 6 claws on them, and these mouths with these not even rows of teeth, but more just like mouths within mouths, very almost eel-like, where it has these larger trap-like jaws, and then within a second set and a third set and a fourth set, all set apart of these various mouths within mouths within mouths, eyeless and yet all-seeing, as 4 of them begin to pull themselves from the walls and I'm not going to say necessarily lunge at you, but they begin to, like, if their hackles raise, they begin to stalk towards you. So we are going to go ahead and enter combat here. Nick, as this is my first combat, would you like to give a little bit of background on the combat of Eldritch Automata?
Yeah. So combat, like anything else, is started with an initiative roll, which is 1d6 plus your agility score. That is as a flat bonus. This is like one of the only rolls in the game that's actually like a non-dice roll. And of course I dropped one of my dice as soon as I said that, as is my curse. But I actually am not going to roll because I'm fighting with my kinetic gauntlet that has the slow tag on it. That means no matter what I do, my attacks always applied last at initiative.
Fantastic.
So I'm just going last.
All right. Well, with Cassidy going last, what did you roll?
That is a 7.
Okay. Garrick?
5.
Okay, so Garrick. And Wombat, as you will be support here, what did you roll?
8.
8. Okay, so you could go for Simone. All right, so let's change up the music a little bit here, and we'll do one round of combat, and then we'll probably do break right at that. So there we go. Okay, these are lurkers. These are from what was provided from the Dark Passenger, which is pre-gen game. So if you've seen other Eldritch Automata stuff, you might have seen these fun little guys before. They have the ability to phase through solid objects, which make them a master of stealth, and they can materialize and dematerialize at will, leaving no trace of their passage. The darkness is their ally, and I think Wombat's little Pokedex would provide all of that to you. They do have, they have Umbral Strike as their attack. So for the attack, self-incorporeal. Okay. So Nick, I have it gives the attack for them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just a Yeah, go ahead. Is that a
Yes.
D6 to hit? Okay.
So to explain, so there's not like traditional like dice rolling against AC.
Sure.
Attacks are made just with the intent to get a success. So you just roll your dice pool of whatever they have. I believe they hit because they're enemies. Normally they would have a threat level. I don't know if the ones in Dark Passenger do because they were like older.
Yeah, they're considered a class 1. They have a die pool of 6. So I'm going to roll
cool.
66.
Yep. And then even gaining 1 success would give you the full damage, and then extra successes can be spent on more damage if you like, or anything else depending on if it's a close combat or ranged. And that goes both ways for us too as well.
Okay, so these things are going to strike out at all of you. Like I said, there are 4 of them. You will watch as one of them actually goes to run off into the darkness now that it has spotted you, leaving 3 behind. One of them is going to strike out at Cassidy. It rolled 2 6s. So for damage, it is listed as has stealth 2, swift 3, light damage 0.
Okay, so light damage is 3 damage, and then those are what we call tags. So all weapons are made up of a damage tag, a range tag, descriptors, and flaw tags. So you said it had stealth.
Yes.
Well, we already were able to see it, so that doesn't necessarily apply. Thankfully. Swift means it can. Did it move this turn? Did it spend its fast action moving?
I think it's going to lunge towards you, so yes.
Okay. All right. Because if not, because it's swifted, that means it could use a slow action to attack, and then use another fast action to attack again on the same turn. So
Gotcha.
thankfully, we're not getting 2. So, are you spending the extra success on damage?
Yes, I will on this.
Cool. So I'm going to be taking 4 damage.
Okay.
Half my
All right.
health.
Then we're going to take an attack at Simone. That is only 1 success, so 3 damage to Simone. And then Garrick.
Bars are fucking they're powerful.
One success for Garrick, so Garrick 3 damage to you as well. It is now Wombat's turn.
The background behind Wombat on your HUDs kind of shifts to a red, and I think the overlay of your HUDs completely shifts as well. I am upgrading the danger probability profile for this mission to high. I believe we may want to take some actions to avoid this battle. Is anybody in need of emotional support?
I mean, technically we all have stress, so maybe we all need it a little bit.
I don't think we have time for therapy right now, Wombat.
Simone, there is always time for therapy. You are doing wonderful.
Thanks, Wombat.
Keep up the good work. And I will, as a fast action, increase your ego by 1. Using you can do this. And then as a slow action, I will scan out over. I will see if I can find any weaknesses that these may have. And I would like to expose the enemy, which is a relay roll. Try and expose a weakness on the targets. So I will pick, it's just a single target. Yeah, just a single target. So I will pick, who's the most injured?
It's
Recording Cassidy.
Yeah, I think Cassidy is
took-
probably
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Then the one that is on Cassidy, I will choose that one.
Okay.
Manipulates. That is 4 successes.
Dang, okay.
So they will take a 4-point penalty to their armor damage reduction or ego field.
Yep.
Till the end of the round.
That's great. That's
I kind of light
very
up
powerful.
weaknesses with little reticles all over these horrors on everyone's heads-up display. If you hit there, you should be much more successful otherwise.
They only have an ego field of 5, so yeah, this is that's pretty good. I'm also going to say that in your scan, you do note that these lurkers were previously injured. While they typically have health of 9, they only have health of 6 each. And as you scan them, you can see that they have recently been in some sort of skirmish or combat, maybe with each other, maybe with something else that you can't really determine. But these things seem to have been hiding, if not fleeing, when you came across them. Anything else for your turn about that? Okay. Simone.
I mean, I guess it's time to test the new toy.
It seems like it, yeah.
It seems like the move. The only problem is it's meant for long range, and most of these are pretty up on us. Except for you said one ran away.
One
correct?
Is running away, yeah.
Can I go for that one? Because
Sure.
I don't want that thing bringing back reinforcements.
Yeah.
So let me see. What is the roll for a long range weapon? Excellent. There is a roll for it specifically for ranged combat. Excellent. I will. Yeah. Yeah. So I think pulling sort of out of a holster at their side is what essentially looks like an old school Game Boy. That is there's the methods that this thing is held together with do not, let's say, pass inspection. There's duct tape. There's a lot of bare wires, but it's functional. And so I'm gonna try to hit this thing, and we'll see if it works.
Your prototype currently has a 17% chance of instability.
That's better than it used to be. Ayo, that is a success.
Fantastic.
And that thing does 5 damage.
Okay. With 1 damage left, this thing I think stumbles as your weapon blasts the side of it.
It's
Anything
still
else
going?
you can do for your turn? Still going. Just a little bit. Limping pretty sizably.
Did you only roll 1 success?
I only got the 1 success.
Ah, so close.
I know.
You could push, I believe.
I could push.
You could push. You get that 1 more, you'd be able to kill it.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's go. Let me see.
You get just all the serotonin from that voice. It's just like a low rumble, like a white noise machine in your brain. Brain go burr.
So that didn't work, but none of the ones were on my stress die, so we're good.
Okay, good. Okay.
Because the fun thing about this weapon is that if I roll like a stress failure while I'm using it, it blows up.
Oh, you're
And
fragile?
I'm fragile and volatile, so it hurts me and then explodes.
Yes, but Kit, what is the weapon?
The weapon is me, Derek.
The
The weapon has been me all along. The weapon was the friends we made along the way, bestie.
The weapon is the friends we made along.
That's the code name. The friends we made along the way.
I just want to point out the 17% number I gave you was the chance of you blowing it up on your stress die.
That's
Just to
incredible.
let
That's
you
very
know.
good. I appreciate someone who does math because it ain't me. Garrick, it is your turn.
Okay. I think I'm gonna see that the runaway is still moving, so I think I'm going to use my fast action to retreat out of engagement range of the one that's attacking me.
Sure.
And then I'm going to use my slow action to take a shot at it with my service pistol.
Okay.
Since I already
go
have it
for
drawn for the
Yeah.
flashlight. Okay. That is 2 6s.
Very nice.
And I will... Let's see. I think there is a... You said it has like 1 hit point left, right?
If you were shooting at the one that is running away, that one has 1 hit point. The one that was on you has 6.
That's the one I was shooting at.
Okay.
I just want to check the ranged combat skill to see what else I can do with the stun.
Yeah, so you could just looking at the ones that don't require like the target to still be alive, you could exchange your initiative with the enemy if it got more than you. But
There you go.
Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll exchange an initiative score with the enemy.
Cool. All right. So you would like to, let's see, we'll put you at the top of the order. Exchanging initiative score. Put them right there. Okay. All right. Anything else for your turn?
No, I think that's all I can do.
Cool. Cassidy, it is your turn then.
oh, that hurt. And just looking through and seeing as like Wombat has kind of highlighted the weaknesses. Just like with the kinetic glove just kind of like charging up. He's gonna surge forward. So actually, when I took damage, one of my talents activated, which is Death Drive from my pilot playbook archetype, the Thanatos. Whenever an enemy harms you, reduce stress by 1. So I'm down to 0 stress. Which, you know, that's always nice. I'm not too stressed out about it yet.
It's nice not being stressed about getting hurt.
Yeah. I'm down. What I want. So I'm gonna roll my strength plus close combat to attack. That should be fun. And then hopefully get some good damage in on the one that's on me. So that is 2 successes, and then 5 non-successes. I think I'm gonna push actually, since I just lost that stress, and see what I can do if I can deal any more extra damage. Awesome, that's another 2 successes, so 4. So I'm actually gonna do something interesting. I'm gonna do the initial damage, which is the 3, and then, I guess I could just. If I spend the other 3, that would give me 6 damage. It wouldn't kill it outright, though.
That would kill that one outright. They have 6. They have 6. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if the ego field, because the ego field would reduce it, I believe. But.
Oh, okay. That I wasn't sure about. Okay. So.
No worries. Okay, then I'm actually gonna do something a little bit different then. So I'm gonna deal it 3 damage. So it takes the 2. I'm gonna spend 1 on knockback. So I send it away. Does it hit anything by any chance? There's any obstacles behind it?
How far back do you think you hit it?
So knockback. And we pull it up. I'm sorry for stalling like this.
How dare you not know the vast amount of rules?
Yeah.
You know how I just have them all memorized.
So they're knocked back into the zone behind them. So they go over a zone into the next zone.
Okay, I think in that case they probably would hit. I guess I'll leave it up to you. It's a tight enough cave. There's stalactites, there's stalagmites. Could absolutely hit any of those. Could hit a cave wall. Could hit the lurker that was running away.
Ooh. Okay, well that lurker died though.
Did Garrick take it out? Okay.
That's what I thought. Sorry, if not.
Okay.
Yeah, that was why I shot at it.
Gotcha. Okay, I got confused on the rules there.
Cool. No, that's great though. I'll hit into the wall.
But it could land on its corpse.
Yeah, I'll hit into the wall, and per rules of knockback, they'll take an additional 2 damage, and then I'll pump the rest into it. So I think with that, I overcome the ego field and kill it.
I think you do as well. Okay. So with only 2 lurkers left, is there anything else for your turn?
Ooh. I'm just gonna look over and like see the thing go flying and go, you know what? I know I made this joke before, but that really is the wombo combo right there.
I think a little achievement pops up on your HUD.
Right, yeah. Callback. Fantastic. That is where we're going to take our break. 2 lurkers remain. We will start at the top of the order now with Garrick, who switched initiative orders with the lurkers themselves. So stick around. We'll be back. And again, this game and the games we'll be playing this week are in support of the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. You can donate to that at any time. We do not have any anything you can change in this game with your donations, but your donations still go to an absolutely wonderful cause. It's very much appreciated, and we prefer you do that over subs or bits or any kind of stuff for the channel. Stick around. We'll be back in about 10 to 15, and we'll have more horrors for you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Sword and Key, a special session that is game feature of the game Eldritch Automata. Eldritch Automata created by Nick, who is joining us today as a player, produced by Gehenna Gaming. Currently part of a Kickstarter that you can find the link to go and support and get your own copy and wonderful list of additional things attached to it, Kickstarter promotional things. You can find the Kickstarter link on our socials as well as in chat. Also, this game is in support of the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. There are no impacts to this game you can get through donating, but it's still donating to a fantastic cause, and we highly recommend that you do so. First and foremost, especially before doing any like bits or subs or anything like that to this channel. All that said, let's jump back into stuff as our players are neck deep in battle right now. So let's get back to some battle music here. Okay, with 2 lurkers remaining, Garrick, we are back to top of the order with you.
Okay, so I think Garrick is going to kind of take a look around, assess the situation he's in. Instinctively, he's going to think to himself to, get their sniper out of danger. So he's going to use a fast action to aim. I'm going to give myself an extra d6 on my attack, and then I'll use my slow action to take a shot.
Okay.
Such a good skill. Everyone always forgets the aim.
Okay. Is that. And then one for aiming. Okay. My stress die. Okay. Okay. Overall, that is 3 successes.
Fantastic. Okay. How would you like to use those successes?
I think I'm going to spend 2 of those successes to increase the damage.
Okay.
And then the third one I'm going to spend... Oh, wait, no. I'm going to use one of them to increase the damage by 1.
Okay.
And then the other extra one I'll use to... I think I can knock it prone, right? I think that's something I can do.
That is something you can do.
You can,
Okay.
yes, you can use it to range combat lets you knock it prone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will... So I think I'll, it'll, hit it in, one of its knees or something to, kind of drop it onto the ground.
For sure. Okay. And how much damage do you do?
It is a light damage weapon, so 3
Okay.
and then
So
plus 1 from the
an extra
extra
one for 4.
success.
Cool. All right. Cool. That one's looking pretty damaged and is currently prone. With that, then we are to Wombat.
Yeah, so the one that was running away was dead.
So we've taken out 2 of them. The one that was running away has been taken out. The one that was on Cassidy has been taken out. The one that is on Simone, I believe, is prone and very injured. And then there is 1 remaining. Is that right? Or does Garrick still has one on him? I believe.
On my previous turn, I used my fast action to retreat. So
That's right. So you had moved away from it, but it's still
range.
there. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Okay.
And then the one that's very injured, it still has an ego field reducing the damage, right? Or is that gone?
That was the one that was on Cassidy. So that one's eliminated. So the ego reducing field is not in effect on the one that is prone.
Yeah. Then popping up. Tactically, it's more sound to take out them as quickly as possible. So, again, Wombat will scan and try and find the weaknesses on the one that is prone. There's 2 successes.
Very nice.
So it'll reduce its armor or ego field by 2 until the end of the round. So again, the little reticles pop up all over that one. Okay. We're finally in a place where we might win this. I've sent targeting data out to each of you. Please be sure to use it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna save, because I know you can help each other in combat by burning one of your actions. Can I like save my fast action to help somebody later in the round? Is that how that works?
So, you can assist in combat. Usually, that's a slow action, though.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I will pop up on Garrick's. We're not really using ego right now because we don't have the max, so raising it's not doing much. But I'll pop up on Garrick's HUD. That was a wonderful hit you made. Training seems to be paying off. And I will raise Garrick's ego by 1.
Fantastic. Okay. Wombat, if you don't have anything else for your turn, Simone, it is yours.
That's it.
Cool.
Well, here's the thing: is I don't know how much I can do because I am a long range fighter, and they are all right here. And I'm looking at these numbers. I'm not good at punch. I could try it. I don't know that there's much else that I could do, to be honest. So I think I think I'm gonna try to. Can I grapple this thing that's on me and just keep it down essentially, so that somebody else who's better at hitting it can hit it?
Yeah, you just need to. It's just it's like a normal close combat attack, and then you just spend a stunt to grapple it.
Okay, cool. So let's pretend that I'm good at those for a second. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. I totally got this. That is a single success. So I've hit it. I may not have grappled it, but I have hit it.
You have not grappled it unless you wanted to push yourself.
I shouldn't do that.
Okay. But you hit it. What is your close combat damage?
I don't have any modifiers in close combat, so it is just straight strength. So how does that calculate close combat?
Let's see. Parking, grappling, retreat. Types of damage. There we go.
Oh, so are you just attacking with no weapon? Is that like
I don't have a short range weapon.
Okay,
I just punched it.
Yeah,
Just
and that would
punching
just
it.
be light. That would just be light damage.
Light damage, so that's what?
3.
3?
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I punch it for 3.
You kill it. So we've not really been doing this, but we probably should have been, because we've taken out 2 of these things. So Simone, I will ask you, as you punch this horror to death, what does that look like for a sniper?
Okay, so I think Simone still has this we'll call it a weapon out, because that's all they've really got for attacking, but this thing is way too close, so I think they just kind of have the controller and just kind of smack it, and the exposed wires I think is what gets this thing. Like I don't think the thing itself is strong enough to like not break, because this controller was probably built in the 90s, but it's all of the shoddily soldered and duct taped wire that normally like Simone knows how to work around usually, but it was not meant to bash, so I think it just gets caught and essentially electrocuted.
Fair enough. All right. Down to one lurker then, the totally uninjured one. Seeing that Simone has just bashed its companion to death, let's go ahead and get a roll. One success. I want to double check this, Nick. If I roll a 1 on just like the overall attack roll, that doesn't mean anything, right? It's only a 1 on a stress roll.
What? Yeah, it's only a 1 on a stress roll. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, 1 on normal die do not do anything. They're
Okay.
just like a failure, but like just like a normal.
So just 3 points of damage as this thing tries again to pounce you, almost like something like a cross between like a jaguar and a person. The way the hands, these clawed like 6-fingered hands, kind of lurch out at you and try to grapple you, but don't really have the full effect. Very similar. However, you do take the 3 damage from the clawing at you, Simone. And that's what it's got. It is in a desperate situation right now. So Cassidy, it is your turn.
Cool. So we have 1 up. Hasn't
1
been
up.
hit yet though.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna run over to it and just try with all my might to just box this thing to hell and back.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let me make sure I got the right. It's good because I'm rolling with 7 die. Because my strength is 5, my close combat is 2. That will become relevant later, I'm sure. Oh man, that's a 1 big goose egg, so I'm gonna have to push.
Okay.
2 stress. That's not good. Oh wait, I have to roll my stress die. Let me do that real quick. That might be the success I need. No, that's not the success I need. All right, then I'll push to reroll everything.
Okay.
Sheesh. Oh man, no, that's still a goose egg.
Okay.
That's it. I stumbled.
All right. Garrick, it is your turn now with the 1 lurker remaining.
Okay. Yeah. Same as last time. I'm gonna aim and then fire.
Okay.
Base roll. Okay. For the aim die. There we go. And then my stress die. That is going to be 2 success total.
Very nice.
So I'm going to do the base damage, and then I think I'm going to knock this one prone as well.
Okay.
That will be it for my turn.
All right. Then Wombat, we're back to you.
Same thing. Gonna scan it again. Trying to help my team actually hit the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That was 4 successes.
Very nice.
So the targeting reticules pop up all over it again. It's reducing its armor reduction or ego field by 4 to the end of the round.
Okay.
Almost made it through. Simone, you should note that prototype instability is currently at 31%. I would suggest caution.
Thank you, Wombat. Just like standing over this bloody husk. Thanks, Wombat.
I would suggest not taking any more damage. You seem to be bleeding quite a lot.
It's not all mine. Noted.
Simone, with your 33% success or failure rate, I should note, it is your turn. The lurker is looking pretty rough.
How close is this lurker?
It jumped at you, so it was
Okay, so
attacking
it's-
you.
I guess I'm gonna. I mean, it worked last time. I guess I'm gonna hit it because it's too close to shoot it. So I imagine the use caution. Okay, does the same thing again.
Okay.
I'm not good at what's the word, listening. No whammies. Hey, that's well, so that's 2 successes.
That's good.
And
Okay.
that is and that's a 1 on a stress die. So it works and then it breaks. Because my weapon is both volatile and fragile. So everybody's taking damage here. A lot of things
warned
happen all
you.
at once.
Oh no.
You did. So
Love an AI that
that-
goes, "I told you so."
somebody has to do it, honestly.
31% is not insignificant.
Oh, I'm feeling that right about now.
Okay. So Kit, with
Uh-huh.
with Simone's weapon
Uh-huh.
going boom,
Uh-huh.
and also the horror being
Horror.
finished up, what does this all look like in conjunction?
Oh man, there's so many tags on this weapon. So I did get 2 successes. Am I allowed to use this stunt before it breaks? Because at the
Yeah,
end
so-
of this
yeah.
turn, once
ahead.
I roll this stress roll, this thing is busted.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna spend my stunt to activate this. So then I get to add essentially that stunt die back to my health because this is a sapping weapon that I have essentially used to bash this thing's head in. And yeah, I think it looks, second verse same as the first. Smash this thing in, except for this time the controller does not survive and it backfires, and there are sparks, I think, that hit this creature and then also hit Simone. And I think she drops it and the controller shatters. And then I think I have to roll my stress,
Yeah, I
an
think you-
actual panic roll.
Yep, which is 1d6 plus your current stress level.
Okay.
Prototype instability now at 100%.
Yeah, I got that. Okay, so that's a 2 plus 2. So it's a 4 to panic. Which is I'm stable. I'm keeping it together.
Stable, as long as you don't roll
Only
above
just.
6. Yeah.
Whew.
Okay.
We are vibing, but only just. But I no longer have a weapon on my person. So
We're out of combat. You may all take an experience point. Kit, I will give Simone 2 for an extra 1 for losing that weapon.
Oh, thank you.
You took something fragile, and it was proven fragile. That's enjoy that XP. You'll need it. Okay. So, where you are now in the tunnels, these lurkers literally just like almost bleeding into shadow again, like bits of wisping smoke, these tendrils that are extending upwards and just dissipating into the air around you. The tunnel otherwise seems to actually like lighten up. Like the lights seem to have been dimmed a bit, but they seem to actually glow to the point where you start to realize that there's something that almost seems like it's overloading them. There's like this extremely bright light, and then you feel a thrum go through the air, or through the ground rather, not the air. I guess you're in a tunnel, the air too. But literal stone, like bits of rock, kind of are dropping down from the roof above you, as if something very heavy is moving, like almost like a miniature earthquake is what you all just kind of experienced. And then you feel another one, and there seems to be something very large and heavy that is moving above you all, not immediately above you, but it's big enough that regardless of the distance, it's affecting you here.
You think that's all right?
God, I hope so. I feel like I just got knocked on my ass.
We should keep moving regardless. Are you able to walk?
Yeah, how is anyone down?
Almost. I have but a single hit point left.
Then we will push on a bit more. Then we will treat your wounds.
Okay. All right. That's fair, I guess.
Whoa, Garrick, are you sure? Like, they're about to drop. What are you talking about?
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, my guys.
We should not stay here and risk having the cave collapse on top of us. At the very least, we should move until the shaking stops.
Yeah. Or if more of those things decide to show up, they know we're here now.
If the cave does happen to cave in, having to drag a teammate out from the rubble will only slow you down further. Medical trauma should take priority.
I don't, trauma seems excessive, just bleeding excessively. Um,
I think Cassie will like begrudgingly also pretty brute because we all got hurt. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Is gonna try to support Simone like the arm over his shoulder.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think Garrick would acquiesce and take Simone's other side.
Thanks, guys.
This is important. Does anyone have medical?
I have a first aid kit.
Okay. I was like, oh man, this might suck.
I've got base empathy. I do not have anything in actual medical.
Okay, we might have messed up here, everyone.
Somebody grabbed a first aid kit.
We should
We're
be fine.
I think also before we leave, I'm gonna see if I can grab what's left of Simone's weapon.
Oh, I keep those bits on me. I can fix it. I just can't
Okay.
fix it until we have downtime.
Okay, then we'll disregard that.
I appreciate the help collecting the bits, though.
Yeah. Then, yeah, I think we'll push forward a bit until it seems like a safe place to stop.
Would you like walking music to calm the stress levels? They seem quite high at this moment.
Define walking music?
I think the soundtrack from the Two Towers plays. It's very specifically the Rohan music.
Who the hell designed you with all these
So
like
good.
specific tracks and references?
A hero. A hero is who.
Someone the world misses. Oh man, hero of our
Should
time.
never see their like again. Okay. Continuing on, you a bit slower, perhaps, trying to help Simone along. You start to notice that the beacon that you are getting from Wombat is getting closer and closer to the point that you, within probably the span of an hour and a half, are going to be right beneath the convoy. However, the nearest port to get up to the surface level is going to be in about 30 minutes of movement from where you are, just a couple of miles. So you would have to go up through that to meet up with the convoy, and would have to spend about an hour on the surface. And who knows what's up there.
Okay, I think in that case, I think it would be a good idea to stop at the port before we head topside and patch ourselves up, and then maybe rest for a little before continuing.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. Okay. Who's got the most empathy here?
Garrick will unzip his pack and hand the first aid kit to Simone.
Just stitch myself up. This is fine.
I'd like to assist. I will help you in this endeavor.
It's just like an X-ray overlay.
It's gonna see like a YouTube video on first aid.
Yeah, it's overlaid like graphics on your HUD of like exactly where to put the stitch in that.
Oh, this is gonna suck. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is fine.
When you do it right, it like little fireworks shoot off.
Oh no. All right. So let's see. Empathy roll. Do we get bonuses for first aid and etc.? I don't know. How many dice am I rolling?
So you would get a +1 for Wombat helping you for sure.
Excellent.
And then yeah, just be empathy plus medical. The number of successes is the number of damage you recover.
So it turns out I'm bad at this. Turns out I'm very bad at this. That was no successes and 4 ones. None of them on stress dice, thank God. But I'm not in the right headspace to stitch myself up, I think, is what I'm realizing as we're trying to do this.
In that moment, Wombat pops up a reminder that you have snoozed probably 60 times to complete your basic first aid training.
I was busy, okay? Oh, yeah, okay, but reset that alarm. I should do that when we get back. This sucks.
I've reset it for 3 days from now.
Thank you.
Cassidy, what's your empathy score?
Yeah, I could try to patch you up.
I have
Yeah,
3
go for it.
in empathy.
I have 4, so
Okay.
Worth
I
the
will
shot.
assist.
there you go. I'll take the 5.
I also have 4 in empathy, but I have no fingers, so
You can mentally heal and medically aid us.
Yeah, there's just like a spray,
Binaural
like the
audio.
Pokemon
Oh,
potion,
wow.
or it just like a stim or something.
That is 3 successes.
Oh, hell yeah. So that's 3 points back.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, no one's broken. That's the nice thing about the medical kit. If it's the same as the emergency trauma kit equipment, then it just instantly heals like a critical injury. It's perfect.
What?
But no one's been broken yet, thankfully.
Mhm.
Soon though. I can only imagine. How long are we hanging out here for? Like the night or
I mean, do we want to go try to meet up with them? Wombat said they were only a couple hours away. Yeah.
an hour's walk on the surface. The communication that I heard that has been redacted seemed quite urgent.
We should probably get up there then. I can walk the rest of this off. It's fine.
You can
Yeah.
absolutely see on your map tracker that it is still moving towards you. You could wait the hour and a half until it's like over top of you. That's fully something you'd be able to do. But like a full, it's not going to be very long before it does get there.
Is an
Seems to be
hour.
on an intercept path. We could wait here instead of trekking across the surface.
that's strange, right? I thought we were going to them. Why are they coming to us?
I mean, we're supposed to meet them halfway, yeah? Maybe they just got excited.
They could be fleeing from a horde of enemies.
That's probably that one. Yeah.
It is a bit far for seraphs, but it is not heard of for them to come this far.
I look at our pseudo squad leader, Garrick. What's the call, big man?
If we are able to move, then perhaps we move topside. Wait up there. Let them come to us.
Well, if we're waiting, we should do that down here. We don't want to attract attention. I think if we go up, we should move.
Then perhaps we wait inside when we get up.
Because is it a lift that we're gonna use to take up, or are we just climbing up?
So there's essentially another like blast door hellgate that like they're all like they're not just out in the open. They're typically in caves, in structures that have remained standing. Your information shows you that yours is going to come up inside of a still standing stone outpost next to a fire watchtower.
We could always hang out the watchtower.
The latest scans I have show that the building and tower are still standing.
Yeah,
They
we
are
could
somewhat
give it a go.
outdated, but I am optimistic.
The tower will provide us with a good overlook, at least.
Yeah, not a bad idea to see what's coming.
I think it's better than staying down here and cooking.
You could go for a swim again.
Maybe clearer waters.
Yeah, let's go topside. See if we can't get eyes on things. Try not to make too much of a scene until they get here.
So, you will traverse the extra 30 minutes until you see that there are steps that have been carved into the very rock face itself as part of this cave. They seem to traverse upwards. There is also an equipment lift that you could use. It does seem to be still automated in case, also if you needed anybody who couldn't use stairs. And it does seem to have electric power here. The lights are on. The lift, like the buttons, the red and green button, both have light coming from them. So you could use that as well. Otherwise, the stairs kind of circle upwards with almost like this chimney that's been carved into the cave system and seems to traverse upwards into the darkness. We're taking stairs, we're taking the lift.
I would say the stairs might be a bit safer.
Okay.
The last inspection on file for the lift was pre-arrival of the Seraphs.
Yeah, that's the real bummer about the apocalypse. You all traverse up the stairs. Again, they are carved stone, a little slick from time to time, but you're able to keep your footing. Moss has tried to grow on here in the humidity, not super successful without light, but there's still like cave fungus and that sort of thing, which seems to thrive down here. Up and around and up and around you travel until you come to another series of blast doors. You enter the code, what that code might be. Maybe it's like 4311. That's fun. And the blast doors open almost vertically. There's like a ladder where again there's a small lift that you'd be able to travel up as well. But traveling up the ladder as the blast doors open above you, you enter what is a dark, very musty smelling stone building. There are open windows, no glass. Everything in here is covered with cobwebs, and as you look around, there's a couple of tables. There's a cot, hasn't been used in a very long time. An old laptop, which seems to be sitting there. This place doesn't really seem to have been like overly damaged by the apocalypse, but definitely like whoever was here left in a hurry. There's, plates there, which whatever fauna are in this area have long since cleaned those plates of whatever was there, but you can still see that there's stains of whatever food had been left on these plates. And yeah, it seems like this place has just kind of been left to the elements and whatever flora and fauna have kind of came in and made this their home. As you look out one of the windows, you can see that it is attached to a fire watch station that is raised up on poles and does have a stair system that you can climb up to get to the actual fire watch area. Otherwise, I'll note this. It is very cold. It does look like the snow has reached this area, and there is a couple of inches on the ground here. And without glass in the windows, the breeze, and because you're also at a higher point here, as fire watches typically are in hills, mountains, you are feeling like the bite of the cold coming in, especially from like the warm damp of the cave system. It's kind of like you've been sweating and then you go out into winter and just it hits you all of a sudden. You probably dry from your swim, but still a little damp from the cave. So that kind of jolts your system for just a moment. And then yes, it's typically brighter than it would be outside because the sun is still reflecting off of the snow. So with that, what would you like to do?
You said there's like a laptop and tech and stuff that's been left here.
There's a very old laptop. Yeah. Old in the sense of like, it's been, we'll say 10 years since the architect first came. Mm-hmm. So 10-year-old tech that hasn't been charged in a while, but yes, there is a laptop.
Okay. So probably can't plug it in and turn it on, but might be able to steal parts.
I'm not going to tell you that you can't plug it in and turn it on because it does have a cord there, and as far as you know, there is electricity going down into the sub level here. There likely would be electricity if you did want to try to power it on.
Oh,
You could
absolutely.
absolutely steal it for parts, but if you wanted to try the laptop, you could.
If I can turn it on first, I would like to steal it. I would like to ransack it for information first, and then for parts. You
Okay.
feel-
I suppose just step in it. I got you.
Aye.
Okay. You pull up the computer, and you can see that whoever was using it for the sake of story did not have a password, or their password is password. Why not?
Excellent.
Yeah. You're able to log in, and while there is no internet here, you can see what they most recently had pulled up, and almost every like they have their MSN news websites pulled up, and it's talking about the lights in the sky, the so-called architect. There's a number of stories. There are blog posts about who the architect could be. There are early stories of horrors being called conspiracy theories. And then there are also like files on the computer that seem to be journal entries from whoever was stationed here at the Firewatch. And from what you can glean from those, they are from a young woman named Amber. She signs them off, and she seems to note that she had taken this as just a summer job. She was away from her family. There's a lot of concern about getting back to them in Ohio, but she's not sure she's ever going to see them again. She's been hearing noises in the night, things that don't sound like animals. She's been seeing eyes. She's been seeing things moving through like she can see the trees moving through the forest but can't see what's moving the trees. And then the final journal entry just says, "This is it. They're coming. I have to go."
Well, that's morbid. Um, Yikes. I am gonna download them because I'm like that, I guess.
Probability of survival was quite low.
I can see that.
Did you
Yeah.
find anything interesting?
About what you'd expect from somebody stuck out here when it all went down. Not sure it's something y'all want to read, if I'm honest.
Take out the winter parka that I'm sure I have in my backpack because I wouldn't go traversing the winter with just the denim.
Also sleeveless. Yeah.
Also
Also
sleeveless.
Yeah.
These guns get all the heat they need.
It's just
So,
it's just
puffer
vest all the way
vest.
down. Yeah, exactly.
Puffer vest
Puffer
over
vest.
denim vest over.
But I'm gonna go check the watchtower, see if they've left anything up the top side, like up at the top.
Going up the stairs to the watchtower, you can see that it is smaller. This is not one of the watchtowers that's meant to be lived in, hence they have the kind of the building attached to it. But you can see that there's an old pair of binoculars up there. It is enclosed. A lot of the windows are busted out, so there's a lot of snow kind of in there. What books there were seem to be ruined, as there's windows all around. It's not like the building beneath you where there were only a few windows. The laptop kind of survived because it wasn't near them. This was just like everything in here got drenched with 10 years of weather. The binoculars survived because they have more resilient materials than any of the books here. The books are just mold and there's plants practically growing out of them. I would say that you probably found some canned food. I think 10 years might be pushing it for Skyline Chili, but I'll throw it out there nonetheless if any of you are desperate enough to have Cincinnati chili.
There's
Yeah,
enough
they're
preservatives in here to keep it going for years.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you want to give me an observation roll to anything else.
Yeah, and I'll definitely take the binoculars because that'll be useful when we're trying to
Sure.
spot our friends.
And if you would like to add a die for the binoculars, consider that gear as you are not only looking around here but also looking out around the watchtower.
Awesome.
Be my guest.
Thank you. All right. So without stress, that's one success. Let's go ahead and see if stress kills me. All right. No success. No additional successes, but no ones. So just one success.
Okay. As you all are looking out, as specifically, Nick Cassidy is looking out the Monongahela Forest, which is where you are, Monongahela National Park. There's not much else to see in here. Very, very weather-ridden. But it's as you're looking out towards the snow-covered trees and some barren parts of the forest as well, that you start to note pathways that have been almost carved through the forest, where very large things seem to have moved through. And it's then you all feel that thrum come through the earth again. Not enough of a tremor to knock any of you off your feet, but enough that you can feel it. You a little bit of snow shifts off the roof. And another, and the frequency is increasing, and the intensity is increasing, and that's when, Cassidy, you spot the caravan. You're at a high enough vantage point that you can see it, and you can see it especially because it is just broken through the trees, barreling gunfire at a horrifyingly large horror chasing after it. And as that horror goes to reach out for this mechanized vehicle you recognize as the casket, gunfire coming from the gun turrets attached to this vehicle, you watch as a mech, seemingly from nowhere, almost like it had been prone moments before, leaps up and tackles the horror to the ground, and you will feel a actually like sizable thrum come through the earth at that point. And it does seem as if the caravan is currently under attack.
I get on the PDA and just let everyone know, like, hey, I found our friends, but looks like they got company. Big one.
Could I scan for signals, encrypted and not encrypted, to try and pick up the communications that the convoy might be using?
For sure, yeah. Especially with you being close, you're actually being above ground at this point. Absolutely. Let's see. I don't think that's necessarily a roll. I think you just be able to pick up on radio signals from where you are. And yes, you absolutely hear just mayday, mayday, under attack. We need support immediately. One mech down, one mech barely up. We need support. Anyone around, anyone. And just gunfire all through that. Like you're able to parse that out as AI. If a person was listening to that, it would just sound like just crackles and explosions.
Yeah, I will kind of parse it out and kind of send it out to everyone's tech. I can patch you in if we are willing to help. I do not know how much help we could be in this situation. Our survival rate would be quite minimal, but I can patch you in regardless.
How big is this building that we're in?
The building's only like 1 story. The fire towers maybe like what would be like 3 stories high. But
is there a garage?
There is not a garage. There is what you see to be like a landing pad for like a helicopter.
And this horror is quite big, right? Like
as big as the mech.
There is no way we're gonna be able to even put a scratch on that creature. It's like 20 times our size.
Yeah, I mean, I need time to even make sure that this thing is going to work again, and we don't have our mechs on us.
Wombat, could we possibly could we call for the mechs? Is that possible?
I can certainly put a call for them. They are at least a half a day out, though, based on our travel so far.
You might be able to airdrop them. That is something. So essentially, I will give this to Anna because we didn't necessarily specify anything like all what Wombat can do. But as AI, as you are essentially representing the operations admin, which is what your character is, you have access in absolutely like dire times to like ICBMs, like airstrikes. You could potentially like try to get the mechs here. The whole point was that this was supposed to be a quiet mission. This mission does not seem to be quiet, And you also know that you would be able to transport the mechs much faster without people in them having to experience that G-force than you would, as opposed to people being in them and then having to deal with them having liquid brains by the time that they got to where they were going. So you do have the ability to get the mechs here within the span of like 15 minutes. And that you could call in a strike for that.
Yeah, so I think Wombat is silent for a moment, kind of, there's almost a spinning wheel in the background of her avatar, and then she kind of pops back up. It seems that the parameters of our mission needs to change from stealth to assault. I can call in a strike if you wish. I can call in the mechs as well.
I mean, our job is to
fire. Yeah, go ahead.
our job is to get them home safe, and that seems like the only way that I can see to make that happen.
It's time to burn some metal.
Hopefully not too much.
Speak for
Understood.
yourself.
I'd like to burn more horror than metal, if it's all the same to you.
Potato, tomato, and yes, Anna, if you do have any like requests at any point, like I'm more than happy to play with whatever you think might be at the disposal of a remnant human population with like mech suits. Like that's it's, I feel we're playing it kind of loosey-goosey on that front. So you put the call in. You will reason it's going to take you about as long to get down this mountain to that caravan, to that convoy, as the mechs will arrive. So do you want the mechs to come to you here and just watch, or do you want to go down and try to support on foot?
Supporting on foot will probably die before they get here. So
Yeah.
I will,
Maybe.
I'll
Yeah.
request that they're dropped here and we wait. If I can request an airstrike, I don't know, that
Sure.
I would do that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I like that. I believe you have something in your character. Let me double check.
It is a talent for like a weapon, but I don't know. You don't have to take it from the beginning, so it's possible that it just hasn't been taken yet.
Okay, so what are you? You are.
Yeah, I did not take it.
Okay. Manufactured, and you are operations admin, and yes, state of the best order retreat, supporting fire. Okay, so you did not take the supporting fire. Was
I
that
did
right?
not, unfortunately. So
Okay.
I'll just call the mechs in.
Okay. That's okay. I still like the supporting fire thing. Let's see. Full mind autonomous large call strike. Your supporting fire is unable to pierce or affect eco fields. Why don't you go ahead and just roll me your dice pool for, let's call this empathy. You're essentially trying to call in a strike that otherwise hasn't been authorized. So based on successes, we can see if there can be an airstrike for this.
Could that be command or manipulation?
Command or manipulation. I'm not going to say one or the other.
Okay, I will do manipulation because it is slightly higher.
Yeah, because this is either this could be Wombat pretending to be General Pickett, or this could be Wombat pretending to be somebody in danger and calling for an airstrike. And I like the manipulation side of that.
Yeah, I think Wombat is going to kind of process the voices that she is hearing over the radio from the convoy and kind of piece those together into a request for an airstrike.
Mm-hmm.
An
Which
emergency
goes through
request.
her logs to see like what the most
Mhm.
empathetic type of voice is, and it's like, you know, yeah.
Against the profile that I have for the general, to
Absolutely,
where
yeah.
what he's most sympathetic towards.
Just a dog barking. He's like, wait, there's a dog there?
Yeah. There's multiple dogs in the background.
That caravan's full of puppies.
3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. Yeah, so the minutes go by, even for an ICBM, which takes a couple seconds, but as you are waiting for things to get processed, you're basically trying to cut through several lines of red tape to get these missiles to fire. And way back at Mammoth Cave, as these ICBM turrets begin to open up and this airstrike begins to get authorized. People are trying to stop it on their end, but with 3 successes, you are able to subvert all of that. And you would watch as from just the sky rains this man-made hellfire down on this area right behind the caravan. The mech is fortunately able to dodge out of the way, but the behemoth of a horror gets just absolutely pelted. And it's at that point that you also notice that there are multiple smaller horrors that are running alongside the caravan. That is what the turret guns are firing at to try to keep them off of this vehicle. Okay. A few minutes go by, and you begin to see like the sun darkens a little bit as these large carriers, sky carriers, begin to hover overhead, and with these lines where they're essentially dangling your mechs from, they find a solid enough landing area for all of you to essentially the feet of your mechs, crushing trees and leveling out earth beneath them. All land in a relatively close area. And you can see that the caravan is going to cut almost like perpendicular to where they are facing. If you would like to enter your mechs and take on your pilot role, please feel free to do so.
I'll do so.
Okay.
Wombat, bring in the combat. Let's go.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, every time I just want to give you all so much stress. At this point, would you all like to enter initiative, or is there something you all would like to do before your initiative?
I would warn everyone that against my will, that I have friendly fire on my main weapon, and it hits an area around me. So if you can avoid being in the same zone as me, that would probably work out for the best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Understood.
I have preloaded guided meditation apps into each of your HUDs. Please be sure to use those if you are feeling stressed during the battle.
That's like sitting in the cockpit. Wombat, can I make a music request?
Absolutely.
You got anything by the Beastie Boys loaded up in that brain of yours?
Please hold. There's a moment, and then a playlist will come on. Very much like if you've been watching the Spotify day lists that have just the wild titles, it's one of those playlists.
Yeah, for the sake of this channel and our licensing, I cannot play the Beastie Boys. I don't know that I have anything close.
It's fine. We could say it's an in-game thing.
We'll find something here. Yeah.
I like to imagine that it's just the spot. Like Spotify still has ads though, so there's still like ads.
Oh yeah, there's definitely still. It's Pandora's what's left. It's the end of the world.
Oh,
Pandora,
So
God.
it's songs. It's songs like the Beastie Boys. It's songs
like
that you
the
may
Beastie
like
Boys.
if you also enjoy the Beastie Boys, but there is no
Every
Beastie Boys
20th
on the
song
list.
is like there is a Beastie Boy. That is, you don't get all of them.
Yeah, you just get like 3 random artists you never heard of, and then like Sabotage every once in a while.
You get an ad that's like, ever wake up in the morning and you don't want to go? Well, it's time for Quaker Oats.
There's a Hello Fresh ad in there somewhere.
Yeah, I just hear like epic music. I'm like, oh, this sounds great. Play Raid Shadow Legends. God damn it.
Damn it.
Every time.
Our life is Raid Shadow Legends at this point.
So I'm curious, because this is one of my favorite things about mechs. How do you board your mech when it is on the ground? Is there like a ladder that pops out? Do you go in through the foot? Is there like a little butt elevator? Like, wow, they've never showed it on Power Rangers, and I'm very curious. How do you all get into your mechs?
There's a rappelling system on mine. It was not built to get into. It has been jerry-rigged with ropes and pythons and shit. It is not the most stable, but I like to climb things, and so I do that.
Yep. I work with a lot of kids with ADHD these days. I get it. Yeah. Cassidy, what about you? How do you board your death trap?
Ooh, I definitely like step on its open hand, and
Oh,
like
that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
it raises me
Yeah.
up, and like I just jump into the cockpit, the ego chamber as we call it.
That has to have theme music to it too. That's either really badass or it's just he raised me up so I can stand on. Yeah, that's so good. Garrick, very old school. What does it look like?
Yeah, so for Volk 4, this Junker class mech, I think this one would have like a sliding panel on like the top, and he just like hops inside, kind of like almost like boarding a tank,
Mm-hmm.
and it slides shut behind him.
Very cool. Okay. All of you get into your mechs, you get settled, buckle in, get into your gyroscopic station, whatever have you, however you potentially
Neck
pilot
attachment.
yours. Yeah, whether you're doing like a Pacific Rim sort of deal, or it's a Zoids thing. I'll reference Zoids, why not? Yeah, so and then you would all see on your display, Wombat pops up. Perhaps like screen in screen, sort of, so that she is there to support you at all times. And then, especially Simone, your screen would pop up ever so briefly, where it would just glitch out and show a bunch of Eldritch symbols in like Enochian, and then that would say the little bar would come across that would just say translating. And you would get, I'm going to send you exactly what it looks like.
Please do.
I love this music, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Devil Face, Crossbones, Blackheart.
I should have never given this thing access to emojis.
I messaged Kid at one point. It's like, I'm not going to send you GIFs because that's too much, but I'm tempted.
One
Just
of these
SpongeBob
days, it's
GIFs.
going to get my GIFs. It's going to get access to the GIF folder that I have stored. And
I
that's...
think it's got to get
dreading it.
divine first. Road work ahead.
Sure
yeah, I
hope
sure
it-
I
hope it-
sure hope it does.
Oh, man.
Three
I
of us
think,
are sharing a brain today. That's potentially more. Okay.
yeah, this pops up, and I think Simone is already sort of like typing, like pulling up the files, getting that downloaded because they keep track of everything that this thing tells them.
Mhm.
And is already looking up, like asking questions of the mech, trying to get an ID on what these horrors or whatever down there are. Because you said there's a big one, there's a bunch of little guys.
There's a big one, there's a bunch of little guys. So, yes, if you would like to identify these things,
Would I have- I have automata records now that I have access to my robot. So I'm scrounging
love
through
this
for something that
archetype.
looks similar. It's so
Um,
good.
Go ahead and let's do a roll for this. This could be, feels like a wit roll. Observation kind of leans into it, but I could also see maybe like I would give you science, observation.
I have a move for it.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay. In that
I'm not
case,
seeing a roll associated to the move though. So
Yes. So let's say the move gives you an extra dice then.
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay. So I would give survival, science, observation. I would even say ranged combat could be applicable to this since you are kind of like
Mhm.
identifying enemies at long range.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see.
And you get that +1 for the entire scene, by the way. From
Yeah,
Automata Records.
and if the enemy is multiple of the same type, like all those little guys, +1
Mhm.
applies to all of them. So
Perfect. Yeah.
yeah. How many dice do I have? Too many. All right. Okay. 2.
2 successes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'll take-
Okay. The little guys are flesh rippers.
Great.
Chariot flesh rippers. They are essentially, so I will actually use the lovely language that's written here. A grotesque monstrosity composed of writhing arms and jagged fangs. It rends enemies with its dissonant limbs. Beware of being caught by this horror, as it prefers to kill its prey by ripping them limb from limb. After eating, the horror adds the limbs of the victim to its body, adding another appendage to its arsenal.
This was the first ever enemy we ever invented, and it's has a special place in my heart.
So
Wow, just like
your
me, for real,
Pokedex
for
pops
real.
up with that. Flesh
Oh,
Ripper,
I hate this.
a grotesque monstrosity composed of writhing arms and fangs. Okay,
Yeah.
and then the big fella I am going to say is, oh, what did I have for that? I'm not going to throw a behemoth at you. As much as I want to throw a behemoth at you, I think a behemoth is a little too much. Who was it? 5 too big. Let's say, trying to find something that's actually going to be somewhat reasonable here. Let's call this a corrosion revenant. Yeah, I think this is pretty unsettling. So please use your safety cards. And this is one of the grosser ones. They're all gross. Not gonna lie, the horrors are horrifying for a reason. Resembling a bloated mass, this horror spouts various external intestinal tracts that feed from various parts of its hunched form. Covered in corrosive fluids, this horror dissolves its foes with acidic projectiles launched from its distended maw.
Gross.
It's
Yeah.
a big old puke monster.
Great. Yeah, I think Simone like redacts most of like the gory bits from these, but we'll like send out a ping to everybody else or ask Wombat too, probably. Just let him know. Probably don't get too close to that big guy. Or
And
I mean,
you-
honestly, to the little ones for any length of time.
You even note that the mech that tackled the giant horror before, that tackled the corrosion revenant, actually does show like there's acidic damage to the metal, where like there are now wires exposed, there are inner mechanisms exposed on part of the chassis and the breastplate of this thing.
It's gonna take forever to polish out.
That's the problem. Yeah. So as you all prepare your mechs, make your Power Rangers stances, all of your screens cut together, and you all make like, I don't know, a triangle or something, or maybe like a Brady Bunch sort of thing, and like Wombats in the center. Regardless of how you do it, that is where we're going to end today. We will roll for initiative next time, as we get to the second part of this game feature. Thank you all for joining us for this amazing session of Eldritch Automata. Thank you to Nick for sharing this wonderful game for us and for helping us get through these rules. They are, I can't tell you enough how fantastic this game is, how fun this is. Personally, combat was so cool and smooth. Love that, especially coming from D&D, which does have a little bit of clunk to it. Very, very nice. We are going to talk to Nick even more about this next Saturday during a Sword and Tea interview. So you can learn even more about these rules, and hopefully by, not next Saturday, but the one after, I will be more twice as confident about playing this. But no, I'm very appreciative for all the players that joined us. Again, Nick for sharing this with us, and to you for joining us as well. I'm going to do one last shout out that this game, in addition to all the games that we're doing this week, is in support of the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. You can support that through Tiltify at any time, not just during our games. It doesn't impact this game, might impact future games that we're going to play this week. So keep an eye out for that. It might even go longer than this week. We haven't really talked about it as a mod team, but we will absolutely discuss that. And then yes, any donation is much appreciated, as opposed to, of course, supporting the channel. Please go and donate to a great cause. We'll be fine. I'm going to go around and have these lovely people say a little bit about themselves, where you can find more of them and plug any projects that they are doing, because I know for a fact all of these people do incredible things when they're not here. So, Rak, if you don't mind starting us out.
Ladies, gentlemen, viewers of all pronouns, thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Rakolai, or Rakolai, no preference how you say it. If you enjoyed today's mech-filled session, I actually build mechs, or at least model kits of them, as you can see on my shelf back there. You can see me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Rakolai. I typically stream on Sunday afternoons, around 2 p.m. Eastern. And that's mostly what I do on my channel. You can also find me on most social media sites, Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, at Rakolai. Although on Twitter it is RAKO capital I-A-I. No L in there because the proper spelling was already taken place by someone else. Yeah, I had a lot of fun today. I'm looking forward to session 2.
Thank you, Rack. Yes, that capital I is an L. It makes sense when you see it. It is a pain in the butt. Please go follow Rack, and then don't follow the Rack impersonator out there. Justice for Raxel. Next up, Kit.
Howdy, hey. I am Kit. You can find me most places on the internet at KitRoll or on Twitter while supplies last at KitRollCos. Specifically, coming up, you can find me most every other Saturday over on Lost Caravan, playing Fatal Ascension, our Fabula Ultima campaign, where I am the automata in that one. And everything's going fine. And totally normal things. Nobody's committed war crimes at all. We're not going to fight death. It's fine. We're normal, and we're having a regular one. Every other Wednesday, you can catch Beacons of Farlight over on High Shelf Collective. It is a post-apocalyptic-ish game using the Beacon system, where I'm a little shapeshifter. And we are also several years after the fall of civilization. There's a theme here. Don't worry about it. And then every other Thursday, you can check out a relatively new game, Project Reach Extraction, over on Entropy Emporium, where I am Galahad, a homegrown arena fighter, roped into a corporate heist against his sponsor. It's a whole thing. But if you like sci-fi shenanigans, cyberpunk, dot hack, that kind of stuff, we're not going to want to miss that show. It is delightful. And I will let Anna talk a little bit more about it. But if you like magical girls and queer narratives and stories of hopes amongst defeat, you can check out Bloom and Blight, our Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast, anywhere you get your podcasts. I think that's all I'm allowed to plug for now. But peep the socials for more stuff as I'm allowed to talk about it.
Keep the socials, indeed. Nick, I'm going to have Anna actually go next for the Bloom and Blight thing, so that way you have as much time as you need to shout out all the Eldritch Automata stuff.
Leave me last. That's fine. I'm down.
Gladly. I'm always last. You're fine. Yes, as a personal consumer of Bloom and Blight, Anna, that's a wonderful project, but I'm sure you have more. Where can we find more of your lovely stuff?
Yeah, I am Anna, aka Archival Dust Bunny, most places on the internet. I'm a queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG performer, producer, and podcaster. You can find me on Twitter at Archival Dust Bun, and most other social media like Instagram and Blue Sky at Archival Dust Bunny. I stream a lot. I'm in a lot of stuff. Not going to go through the whole list today. But Mondays you can find me over on Greater Restoration with Tears of the Rose, our Blue Rose ongoing campaign. I play an allegedly reformed pirate, now emissary. I don't know. It's a fun little group. Thursday nights over on Classical Glyce's channel, we have our ongoing Monster Care Squad. I play a former magician turned monster vet. So that's, if you don't want to see us hunting monsters but helping them instead, that's a very fun system. This Sunday, U-Force Inheritance, our Masks actual play over on Tony Dryad's channel returns. We have an amazing cast of characters and players for that, and I play Protege with far too much responsibility on her shoulders. And then, of course, as Kit mentioned, if you like magical girls and queer narratives, finding hope again after devastating loss, check out Bloom and Blight, our Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast. We are half of season 1 is currently up. We're kind of in our mid-season hiatus. We have a lot of really fun stuff coming up. We just, all 3 parts of our holiday special featuring Lexi, Black Girl Mage, as guest director, is up as well. That was a whole lot of fun. But we should return in the next couple weeks with the second half of season 1, which you can find us anywhere you normally get your podcast. For any updates, you can find us on social media at Bloom and Blight. And then, of course, check our website, bloomandblight.com, for cast and character information, transcripts for our episodes, and a link to our community Discord server, which is a ton of fun and gets exclusive previews of art and little fun extra content that we give. And we just have a lot of really fun conversations there. Couple more projects coming up as well, including another Dareful Archives podcast, which is coming up. It is very exciting. I can't say much more than that about it, but keep an eye out on social media for that. And if you like mechs, check out Response Team Omicron, Lancer Actual Play podcast that I also produce. It's a little bit older at this point, but still a lot of fun.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Anna. Nick, any other projects you might be working on, or take as much time as you would like? Shout out proselytize to us about Eldritch Automata.
Well, once again, I'm Nick Francia. You can find me at Nobleman Nick on all socials. I'm the creator of Eldritch Automata, and I'm also the creative director over on Gehenna Gaming. So if you ever want to join our Discord, check us out all over there. We usually have some actual plays going on. I'm currently, other than Eldritch Automata, I'm working on our actual play for Neon Exodus Evangelion, which is a Evangelion actual play powered by Eldritch Automata. Actually, the very earliest version of it too. So it's some of the rules have been changed a little bit, but it's wild and it's a lot of fun. That being said, just to give everyone, if you like this game, so unfortunately the Kickstarter actually wasn't successful. We got about 37,000 out of our 65 goal. We learned a lot from it. And learned a lot of lessons. So we are relaunching in May. But if you go to the Kickstarter or go to our website, gehennagaming.com/Eldritch Automata, you can go ahead and get on the mailing list and get ready for the Kickstarter when we relaunch it again. Actually, we might be going to BackerKit from the sounds of it too as well. So a little bit of difference and much lower goals. So I honestly believe we'll be able to hit it this time. This has been a tremendous experience. It was great to actually play with everyone here, especially when like you all made your characters. This is the first time on stream I said that we've seen non-pre-generated characters. So it was good. It was good to see you all of you twist the system. Also, I have not, other than like a couple playtests, I've never seen the Ancient in play yet. So I'm so happy that someone picked that. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Nick. I apologize. I should have literally looked to the right on the Kickstarter page instead of just pulling it up and copying the URL. So that is on me.
No, that's fine.
But much success to you in the future. In the meantime, definitely follow Nick. Follow Gehenna Gaming. Look out for sounds like BackerKit's going to be in the future for Eldritch Automata. I can't recommend this game enough. And obviously, they're still working on it, but from what I've seen from it's so close to being complete. The monsters are very, very cool. The descriptions are very cool. The world has such a cool setting to it, and it has such a great sandbox to play with. We're going to talk more about it. So yes, I absolutely love the game. Again, I'm Derek Sword. I have been your GM for this game for many games here on Sword and Key. Yes, Sword is my real last name. Yes, it's awesome. No, you can't have it. Again, I am very grateful for the people that I have played with today. Just a heads up for some upcoming Sword and Key stuff. We will not be playing Horizon's Call today. We will be back next week for the fateful meeting of one of our players, our former Warlock, with definitely not a Rakshasa. I don't know why anybody would possibly think that. We will be, let me actually pull up the calendar before I just say other things that aren't true. We have an episode of Monster Crush releasing tomorrow. Monster Crush is a podcast I do with my friend LD. It's about different cryptids, creatures, miscellaneous monsters from folklore and literature. And then we talk about how sexy they are and how cute their butts are. Mothman, 10 out of 10. So you can find that wherever podcasts are found. We actually have an episode coming out about Jumpy Boys, monsters that jump. There's a couple of really fun ones that I didn't really know a lot about before going into. Found some really cool stuff about them, including like a Polish jumping Captain America knife monster thing. Anyway, it's gonna be great. Check it out tomorrow wherever podcasts are found. You can follow Monster Crush on all social media. You can actually follow all of Sword and Key stuff, including Monster Crush, through beacons.ai/Sword and Key, all one word. You can find our Twitter, our Instagram, our Blue Sky. You can also join our Discord there, which has lovely folks like the ones you see in front of you. Hang out with other lovely folks such as them and chat about different things. Chat about this game, other games. We have movie nights that we do every other week. I'll talk about that in a second. And yeah, just come and hang out. Give us a follow. You can always see our stuff first on Discord as well, especially if we do put out applications, which we are doing in the near future for a few games. And you'll always be the first to know about any kind of channel news by hanging out there. Otherwise, we do post stuff to social media pretty regularly. so you can check out stuff there. Again, Monster Crush tomorrow. What is today? The 24th. Okay, so yes, Monster Crush release tomorrow. The finale of our Brindlewood Bay game is going to be tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. It is actually a national holiday. I'm not sure all of you have on your calendar on Monday. It is co-founder of this channel and Love of My Life, Eva. It is her birthday on the 26th. So please take some time. Tell your boss you don't have to work, and celebrate the day. Throw Eva some love. She definitely deserves it. Next week on the 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time, this time slot, I will be chatting with Nick for Sword and Tea, which is our gaming chat show where we talk to different game creators and people in the industry, and we will be talking about Eldritch Automata, among other things that Nick has worked on and any other projects he'd like to shout out. But we will be specifically talking about Eldritch Automata, its mechanics, how Nick came up with the concept, who worked on it, all that great stuff. Takes a couple hours tops, and it's been a really fun time that we've had in the past. So grab some tea and sit with us in the morning for a lovely chat. After that, like I said, Horizons Call will be back at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then starting on the 3rd of March is going to be a 4-session series of Trophy Dark, run by Anik, that Eva will be a part of. That is at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Sundays. And then part 2 of Eldritch Automata will be on the 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. The next movie night, which I mentioned before, is going to be on the 8th. And that is going to be the Super Mario Brothers movie, because Mario Day is technically March 10th. So I actually haven't seen the new Mario movie, so we're going to watch that. If you want to hang out and watch that. I really wanted it to be the original Mario Brothers movie, the 1994 one, I think.
Oh my god.
But not streaming anywhere. It's an absolute crime. This is why physical media matters. If you like a movie, get it on DVD. Couldn't find it. So all that said, we got more fun stuff coming up in the future. Like I said, we do have more applications coming out. We'll have more games featured too. We're also going to fill that Sunday time slot in the afternoon here once I get just a little bit of a break. Hubblewood is looking to come back, and we'll have even more. I should also mention we do have another Sword and Tea coming up as well with Kristen Randall, which is coming up on the 16th. Kristen Randall is author and TTRPG player that we're really excited to talk to again, who's been on our author feature games before, our author adventures. All that said, I should check my Discord because my partner does production on this, and we're going to be rating Valdrianth, which is why I need to check my Discord. They are playing the Mass Effect TTRPG, and Nick, is there anything else you wanted to add before?
Yeah, one announcement I almost forgot to say.
Yeah, please.
And by the way, great programming. I love the Gauntlet. So like seeing Trophy and Brindlewood Bay being played, like amazing games. If you are going to PAX East in the next couple of weeks, which I believe is like middle of March, we're going to be there. Gehenna's going to be there. We're going to be running a bunch of games, Year Zero, Call of Cthulhu, World of Darkness, like we usually do. We are also going to be running Eldritch Automata. And one of those events, I believe it is Friday, we are running the Epic of Eldritch Automata, which is a connected 6-game like huge battle. So if you get to play in it, you will be with 5 other tables worth of fighting going on, and the battlefield ever shifting. So we put a lot of work into that. Definitely kind of the first time we've ever done something like this on this scale. So it's going to be a wild live event. So go check it out if you're going to PAX.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nick. That is very important. We unfortunately will not be at PAX. We are looking to be at Emerald City Comic Con, but that's in the future. So we'll talk more about that later. Until then, thank you again for joining us. Look forward to seeing part 2 in 2 weeks. Sword and Tea with Nick next week. And until all of that happens, if we don't see you sooner, take care of yourselves. Be kind, and have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.